Come in. Welcome. Welcome to the inner sanctum. I'm Hyman Brown. How does a Mediterranean cruise in the sun sound to you? All expenses paid. Not very sinister? Rather pleasant? Well, that's what you think. For when this cruise is only half finished, I think you'll be ready to abandon ship and take the next plane home. We're on a cruise with Elvira Graham, one of the world's leading fashion designers, with her escort, Tony Butler, and her daughter, Marjorie. At the moment, our ship is docked in the Libyan town of Derna. Elvira and Tony have gone sightseeing, trying to find a certain shop they've heard about from the ship's captain.
This is so deserted. There can't be any stores down here.
Oh, it's not a very long alley. Let's look. Oh, there's a candle shop.
Would that be it?
Well, there doesn't seem to be anything else.
Elvira, I don't like this. Let's get out of here.
There's nothing to be afraid of.
It's just too strange. We've gone almost the whole length of the alley, and there's nothing but that candle shop. And that's closed.
Tony, wait. Look up ahead. The alley doesn't end. It makes a turn.
Let's go back. Captain Miller said the store didn't really exist, and I believe him.
We can at least look. Come on. Tony, look! There it is!
Our mystery drama, The Devil's Boutique, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Bob Jurin and stars Joan Loring and Robert L. Greene. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Elvira Graham found the Devil's Boutique, and that was her greatest mistake. She found it on a sunny afternoon in Derna on that Mediterranean cruise. A year has passed since that fateful afternoon, and at the moment we're in the office of Lieutenant Morgan, 31st Precinct.
Come in, Mr. Butler. Sit down.
Thanks.
Sergeant McKay says you can identify the body, the lady of the earrings.
Yes.
Oh, good. We'll go right down to the morgue and...
I don't have to see her, Lieutenant. I know who it is.
Well, a viewing is absolutely necessary, but we can do it later. Who is she?
Elvira Graham.
Was she a friend of yours, a relative?
A friend.
Elvira Graham. We put her age at about 50.
If you'd seen her in life, you'd have thought she was 30. But you were close. She was 52.
I'd appreciate your giving us a statement, Mr. Butler. Tell us all you can about her. Cause of death was drowning, no marks on the body. We have it down as suicide, but we still can't rule out murder.
I'll make a statement, but would you do me a favor? Keep it out of the press.
Well, it's already news, Mr. Butler.
I know that. It was the item in the paper that brought me in here.
Ordinarily, when unidentified body floating in the river isn't that much news, but a nude woman in earrings and fantastic lipstick.
That's why I know without the shadow of a doubt it's Elvira Graham. And that's why I wish you could keep what I'm about to tell you out of the papers.
Well, I'll do what I can, Mr. Butler, but well, they don't have to know every detail. We'll have to release her identity, though.
Yes, I see that. A lot of people are wondering what happened to Elvira Graham, and now they'll know. But the woman suffered enough.
Yeah, she won't suffer anymore.
No, I guess not. She was admired, hated, adored, despised, envied.
You say you're a friend. She has no relatives?
Only a daughter. I'm here in her stead.
The daughter's name?
Marjorie.
Marjorie Graham. Well, just relax and tell us all you can about Elvira Graham. I'll ask questions later.
Elvira Graham was a fashion designer. At her peak, the best. And she had a knack of making sure that no one, but no one, ever looked better than Elvira Graham. It was almost a year ago, in June. She just had a showing of her fall line, and she, Marjorie, and I were starting off on a cruise to relax. I was her escort of the moment.
Roger, bye! Bye! Tell Amy I'll bring her a souvenir from Italy. I said tell Amy I'll bring her...
Can't hear you, Elvira, dear. Just wave.
Oh, bye! Bye! Marjorie, give me a streamer, quick. You've thrown them all, Mother. Oh, it doesn't matter. Come along. Let's go back and finish up that champagne. I think you've had enough, Mother. How many times do I have to tell you, Marjorie? I'll be the judge of that. Oh, I'm exhausted. Pour me one more, Tony. Thank heaven Marjorie's gone to her own cabin. She is so tiresome sometimes. Do you think I've had too much champagne, darling? Be honest.
Well, you do want to look your best at the captain's table tonight.
Sweet, sweet Tony. You have such a knack. For what, I'm not sure yet, but a knack, you're absolutely right. You drink this. I'm going to take a nap.
I think I'll go up on deck for a while.
Tony? Do you think that dress Charlotte Remsen was wearing made her look slimmer? Maybe a little taller?
Definitely. You designed it that way.
Yes. Made her look almost too attractive, I think. Well, I'm not going to think about work anymore. We're here to relax. Kiss me, Tony. And let Elvira get her beauty rest.
Marjorie, I thought you were in your cabin.
Oh, it's too exciting to stay down there. What's Mother doing?
Napping.
Of course, I needn't have asked.
Marge, why do you stay so close to Elvira? Don't you want a life of your own?
I could ask the same of you, couldn't I?
Touché.
Are you in love with my mother, Tony?
Love? No. And you know she's not in love with me. We're companions. I'm convenient. And vice versa.
The great Elvira Graham. She picks her men the way she picks her wardrobe.
But it's fun while it lasts. Escort to the great Elvira Graham. And all that press doesn't hurt my acting career.
Well, at least you're honest, Tony. Probably the first who was.
Thank you. But you didn't answer my question, and I've answered yours.
Why do I stay so close? I admire her, too. But I love her. So many people are jealous of her, and I feel maybe I'm the one little sincere spot in her life. I don't always agree with her.
And she wants you with her. I know that.
I've wondered about that. Why the glamorous Elvira Graham wants her 20-year-old daughter tagging along.
Ever stop to think she loves you?
Yes, I think she does.
And let's face it, you add to her image. Who would believe that anyone as young as Elvira could have a 20-year-old daughter?
I've heard that before. Mother's always been vain. But lately, Tony, it's becoming more of an obsession.
She's the acknowledged queen of fashion. What would you expect?
She's putting it before everything else. She sold her soul to vanity.
Such profundity from one so young.
Don't laugh at me, Tony. I'm worried.
I'm not laughing at you, Marge. But there's nothing we can do about Elvira's personality. We just live with it. Or
what?
Or leave it. And for the moment, it suits me to live with it. Come on. Why don't you take a nap, too? You want to look your best? We're at the captain's table tonight.
How could I forget it? Mother? Come in, dear. I just wondered if you were ready to go up for dinner. Tony and I have had a cocktail already.
Yes, just about. But I see you're not, Marjorie.
I am. That's why I came by.
But, Marjorie, you're not going to wear that scarf with that dress.
Well, yes, I am.
Oh, no, dear. The dress is chiffon. It looks fine, but you don't cover décolleté as low as that with a scarf. It's ridiculous. Besides, it's the wrong color. It should contrast, if anything.
But I thought it was perfect.
Perfect? Marjorie, I cannot understand how the daughter of Elvira Graham can be so insensitive to style. Doesn't anything rub off?
Mother, this is...
We're dining at the captain's table. It may not mean anything to you, but it does to me.
I disagree with you about the scarf, but I'll give in to your superior judgment.
No, darling, you'll find it's always right. Now, hurry and replace that dreadful scarf with a string of plain, simple pearls, and change your lipstick. It's too bright.
I'll meet you in the dining room.
You do understand, I just want you to look your best. Well, you must always look your best, my dear. But never better than Mother. I've never tasted such wine, Captain.
A very special vintage, saved for very special guests.
Oh, you flatter me, sir.
Have some more, Marjorie?
Oh, no, thank you. I'm fine.
Do, Marjorie. It's bound to improve your disposition.
Just a little. There. Mr. Butler?
Thanks.
This isn't your first cruise, Mrs. Graham.
The first with such a charming captain.
Now, who's flattering?
No, I was quite honored to be asked to your table, Captain.
Oh, my pleasure, Mrs. Graham. I've been admiring those pearls, Miss Graham. Are they natural?
Yes, and matched. Thank you for noticing, Captain.
Stunning.
Really? I always thought Marjorie's neck was too thick for pearls.
Mother?
A light scarf might have been more suitable, perhaps.
I bow to your expertise, Mrs. Graham, but I do like the pearls.
Thank you, Captain.
As a matter of fact, I know a place you'd both be interested in. Have you ever heard of the Devil's Boutique?
Devil's Boutique? No. Sounds fascinating.
It's a little shop in Derna, on the Libyan coast. I've heard some of my passengers talk about it.
If it's unusual, it's for Elvira.
Apparently, it is unusual, all right. Actually, they tell me the shop itself has no name, and it's very difficult to find, even with directions.
How curious. What do you mean?
Well, I've had passengers tell me about the unusual things they've bought in this shop. Clothes, accessories, scented candles, everything.
Oh, that sounds charming.
But I've had others who claim they've never even been able to find it. That's apparently why it's called the Devil's Boutique.
Elvira will find it.
When will we be in Derna?
In about 9 days.
Oh, there's lots of cruise to enjoy before then.
Yes, our first stop is Cadiz. Then we swing into the Mediterranean.
Oh, well, here's to the Mediterranean. And the Devil's Boutique.
The next few days were filled with sun, shuffleboard, and swimming. Elvira made sure everyone knew Elvira Graham was aboard. She'd spend a half hour deciding on just the right outfit for the time of day she'd make her appearance. Even the shade of her lipstick changed. One color for morning, another for cocktails. We stopped for a day at Cadiz and then slipped into the Mediterranean.
There it is, on the horizon.
Derna.
We'll dock in about 2 hours.
How long will we be there, Captain?
We'll leave with tonight's tide, about 7 o'clock.
Good. We'll have all afternoon for sightseeing.
You'll excuse me, I have to get to the bridge.
Certainly.
I have such a strange excitement about this city, Tony. There's something about the name, Derna. And the challenge of finding that fascinating shop.
And this was supposed to be a non-work vacation?
There's no such thing for me, and you know it. If I don't keep ahead of the pack, well, besides, it's fun. We'll sightsee in Derna, and I won't leave until I find that Devil's Boutique.
I can tell you one thing. You wouldn't catch me going near a place with a name like that. And certainly, I wouldn't go out of my way to find it. But then, for a woman as vain and determined as Elvira Graham, it might be just the place. Vanity, like love, is blind, and Elvira has no inkling of the strange fate that awaits her in the Devil's Boutique. I'll return shortly. Most women are particular about their appearance, which everyone should be. But with some, it becomes an obsession. Elvira Graham was pushed by an ego that demanded to be first, and pulled by a vanity that demanded most of her attention, and both were responsible for her downfall.
Marjorie, why aren't you dressed? We're going ashore.
I'm not going, Mother. I feel like staying on the ship.
Well, do as you like. Tony and I are going into town and find that shop the captain told us about.
You go ahead. I'll be all right. I just don't feel like going.
This is exciting. I've never seen a place like this.
I wish we knew where we were going.
The captain said follow the main street to the water well and then take the first alley on the right.
If it's that simple, how come some people couldn't find it?
They didn't want to find it badly enough. Come along, Tony.
Why don't we just stroll and enjoy the sights on the way?
Time for that later. Here's the alley. First right after the well.
You're going down there?
Of course.
This is so deserted. There can't be any stores down here.
Oh, it's not a very long alley. Let's look. There's a candle shop.
Would that be it?
Well, it doesn't seem to be anything else.
Elvira, I don't like this. Let's get out of here.
Well, there's nothing to be afraid of.
It's just too strange. There's nothing but that candle shop, and that's closed.
Well, maybe we could knock and ask. Somebody might be in the back.
I think we'd better get out of here.
Oh, I hate to just... Wait, Tony, look. Up ahead. The alley doesn't end, it makes a turn.
Let's go back.
But we can at least look.
This is crazy. There wouldn't be a store hidden back there.
Captain Miller said it was hard to find, and it's probably worth it.
I can't imagine why.
Tony, look! There it is!
There it was, just ahead of us. The windows of a quaint boutique, dimly lighted, and in the window, belts, dresses, slacks, scarves, accessories, beads. Elvira literally jumped with joy.
Tony, we found it. And it's open. Come on. Oh, look at the things in this window. Tony, that belt.
It is different.
It's fabulous. I could design a whole suit around that. Let's go in.
The captain was right. There's no name on it.
There weren't on any of the shops in the main street either. Here it doesn't seem to matter. Fabulous. Just fabulous.
Doesn't seem to be anyone around.
I just want to browse anyway. Look at this jacket. There's not a seam in it. How do you suppose...
Madame likes the jacket?
Oh, yes. It is stunning.
One of my favorite creations.
You're certainly original. I've never seen styles even resembling these before.
And no, I'm not copied. Everything here is quite original.
Mrs. Graham is a designer herself. She knows how to judge quality.
Ah, yes, Elvira Graham. I am honored.
You know me.
Anyone remotely concerned with fashion knows Elvira Graham.
Oh.
Is that not so?
Well, yes, but I never thought here...
You didn't think that in such a humble, out-of-the-way shop, one would have heard of you?
Well, frankly, no.
I keep up with things, huh?
And you are...
My name is Arch.
You don't mind if I look around?
But that is what my shop is here for, Mrs. Graham. If I can be of service, just call me. I will be in the back.
Oh, I've stumbled onto a gold mine.
What do you mean?
Why, these styles. The man is a genius. But how many people know about him? No one who matters.
So?
None of this stuff has hit the market yet, and I'm going to introduce it.
You can't take it all back with you, dear.
Ah, yes, I can. In my sketchbook. Tony, darling, you're looking at Elvira Graham's newest collection.
You're going to pass the stuff off as your own?
Of course. Who's going to know the difference?
You have found something to your liking?
Everything. It's impossible to choose. I'd like to bring my daughter back to see your place.
I would be honored.
We're sailing on the Lady Madison. I'm going back to the ship and get her. You'll be open all afternoon?
Certainly.
Come, Tony. I can't wait to see Marjorie's reaction to this place.
Why all the fuss about Marjorie?
I want Marjorie to come back with us so the two of you can distract him while I copy.
You think he's not going to notice you in your sketchbook?
Not if you and Marjorie help. She'll know how to keep him busy.
Mother, this is unbelievable.
I told you it was sensational. I just wish there were other customers around. Now, you know what to do, Marjorie.
Yes, I don't really approve, but I'll do it.
What'll I do?
You stay with me, Tony. You can cover me.
Mrs. Graham, you did return.
Yes. This is my daughter, Marjorie.
I am charmed, Miss Graham.
How do you do?
This is Mr. Art, the fabulous designer. Marjorie's interested in a pantsuit. She wants to try on a few things. Tony and I'll just browse.
As you wish. This way, Miss Graham. I have a few styles here I think might interest you.
Oh, just stand close, Tony. We'll pretend we're looking closely at these things, and I'll get my sketches. Well, Marjorie, did you find something you liked?
I'm taking this blouse. I decided against a suit.
Oh, it's very attractive. Well, we must be on our way. We're sailing this evening.
Mrs. Graham? Did you get all the sketches you need?
Well, I did jot down an idea or two. I hope you don't mind. I mean, imitation is the highest form of flattery or whatever.
Is that exactly ethical?
Oh, Mother.
Well, perhaps not, Mr. Arch. I shall tear them up if you feel that way.
No. I didn't say I minded.
Perhaps we should leave. Tony, Marjorie.
One moment, Mrs. Graham.
Yes?
Please, no hard feelings. I should not have mentioned the subject. After all, I am flattered by your very presence. The great Elvira Graham in my humble shop, huh? Would you accept the token of admiration?
Well, I don't quite understand.
Have you ever seen anything as exquisite as this?
Mother, how beautiful.
Wow.
Oh, they are expensive earrings, but surely you're not suggesting
You
that
would honor me by accepting them.
This is most extraordinary and generous, Mr. Arch, but I don't see how I could possibly.
You do me a disservice, Mrs. Graham. I insist.
Go ahead, Elvira. It's an unusual gesture.
Well, thank you.
I wrap them for you. I'll be right back.
You ought to accept kindness with a little more grace, Elvira.
But he took me so by surprise. I mean, right on the heels of accusing me of spying.
He didn't exactly accuse, Mother.
Well, I don't embarrass easily, but that was one of the times.
Shh. Here he comes.
Well, here you are, Mrs. Graham. There is no one on whom they will look better. Good day, Mrs. Graham, and bon voyage.
It was late afternoon when we got back to the ship. Marjorie went to her stateroom to dress for dinner, and Elvira stored her sketches in a secret compartment of her trunk.
I'm not taking any chances with those, Tony. They are priceless.
Speaking of priceless, let's see the earrings.
Oh, yes. Here they are, in my purse. I'm so taken up with the sketches, I'd almost forgotten them. I still don't understand his generosity. Oh, but they are beautiful. Well, what's this?
Anything wrong?
Packed with the earrings. It's a lipstick.
So?
Oh, nothing really. He just didn't mention it.
Let's see the earrings.
They are extraordinary, aren't they? They seem even more brilliant than they did in the shop.
Why don't you wear them at dinner tonight?
I intend to. Curious about the lipstick, though. I wonder why he didn't mention it.
Almost ready, Elvira. It's 8 o'clock.
I'll be out in a minute. Is Marjorie there yet?
She just arrived.
I won't be long.
She wants us to get the full effect all at once.
The earrings. She's wearing them at dinner tonight?
And the lipstick.
The lipstick?
The shopkeeper at that boutique slipped in a lipstick with the earrings. It seems to match the color of the stones.
Well?
Elvira.
Oh, Mother. They're breathtaking.
They are striking, Elvira.
The lipstick is perfect, isn't it?
It lights up your whole face. It's almost uncanny.
I've never seen you quite so radiant, darling.
Watch out, you two. You'll turn my head.
That has been done by experts.
Oh, you're dreadful, Tony. Come on. Let's go to dinner.
You're turning heads, darling. Everyone's looking at you.
Oh? I hadn't noticed.
Ah, Mrs. Graham. Good evening. Miss Graham, Mr. Butler. How did you enjoy Derna?
Captain Miller, I owe you a million thanks. I found that boutique.
And you liked it?
It is fabulous. It's going to do great things for me. Do you like my earrings, Captain?
Magnificent.
I got them at the boutique.
Most unusual.
The man at the shop gave them to Mother.
They're most becoming, Mrs. Graham. Shall we sit down? The steward's ready with the consomme.
Oh, yes, dinner, of course. Oh, Tony, it's been the gayest night since we left New York. I think I danced with every man in the room.
Almost.
Almost?
Everyone but me.
Oh, but... Well, you hate dancing.
You could have sat one out.
Be a dear and unzip me. I want to get comfortable and have a last champagne. Here, alone with you. Tony, darling. Damn. Help me with this earring, Tony. I can't get it off.
Let's see.
Just clips on. It ought to open up.
It won't open.
Well, try the other one.
I can't budge this one either.
Well, this is ridiculous. It's just a little spring. Pull harder. Ow!
Sorry, darling.
Well, never mind. I'll get them off in the morning. I'm too tired to care. I'm going to bed. Don't wake me tomorrow, Tony. I feel as though I could sleep for a week.
Good morning, darling.
It's morning already. Oh, I must look a sight. Hand me that cold cream, dear.
Here you are.
I must have been tired last night to leave this lipstick on.
You were quite the belle of the ball, you know.
You don't mind.
The price I pay for escorting the Elvira Graham.
Oh.
What's the matter?
Tony, my lips, the lipstick isn't coming off.
What?
I can't seem to remove this lipstick. I mean, cold cream always takes it right off.
Rub harder.
It just doesn't seem to work.
The earrings. Now the lipstick.
The earrings.
Last night, we couldn't get the earrings off.
Oh, I remember now. They're still on. Yes. I can't open the clasp.
I didn't have any luck with them last night either.
Try again, Tony. Try.
Okay. It's crazy. It's just a little spring, but I can't open it.
Oh, you've got to, Tony. I've got to get these off.
I told you I wouldn't go near a place with a name like the Devil's Boutique. You never know what you're in for. The earrings and the lipstick the shopkeeper gave Elvira were beautiful, all right, and she was immediately attached to them, wouldn't you say? We'll see what happens next when I return shortly with Act 3. Let's return now to the stateroom where Elvira Graham can't seem to remove the lipstick or the earrings, two items she was given by the proprietor of that quaint little shop in Derna. You know, the one with that odd name.
got to get them off, Tony. I can't be seen in the morning wearing these, or this lipstick either. It's just not done.
Relax, Elvira. We'll get them off. Just sit still while I...
Oh, there's no use trying that again. Maybe you could get some kind of tool, something to pry them loose.
Where?
Well, ask the captain. Oh, no, wait, don't. He'd think it's odd.
No different from what I'm thinking.
Mother, Tony, going up for breakfast? Mother, you're still wearing the earrings.
Yes.
Well, do you think they're quite the thing for morning?
Well, of course not. But I'm having a little trouble getting them off.
Want me to try?
Well, you might as well. Tony and I haven't had any luck. Tony, maybe we ought to try and get a tool. Don't ask the captain. Try the purser or someone.
Oh, I've never seen it clasped so tight.
That's not the half of it.
What do you mean?
I can't get the lipstick off either.
We tried everything. Cold cream and even alcohol on the lipstick. Wire cutters we got from the engine room on the earrings. But nothing would take away the color from Elvira's lips or those dazzling earrings from her ears. The metal clasps seemed impervious to the shears. Evening finally came, and Elvira decided she could put in an appearance for dinner. The lipstick and the earrings were appropriate after 6. Relax, darling. You're still the center of all eyes.
Oh, Mrs. Graham, you're wearing those becoming earrings from the shop in Derna. They're quite extraordinary.
They are indeed.
We're having a piano recital tonight after dinner. I hope you're all planning to join us.
We wouldn't miss it.
In the lounge at 9.
We never made the recital. On the way from the dining room, something happened that set Elvira off.
Mother, what is it?
Stupid little tramp.
Calm down, Elvira.
Didn't either of you hear that woman as we were leaving dinner?
No.
You didn't? You didn't hear her say, how gauche, those earrings again?
To you?
No, to her whole table. I wish I'd slapped her face. Well, I can't leave the stateroom again, not until I find some way of getting these hateful things off.
Maybe the man in the shop who gave them to you can help.
Go all the way back to Derna. There's got to be an easier way.
Well, you haven't come up with it. Maybe Marjorie has an idea. I'm going back to Derna. We'll fly from the next port at which we stop.
Elvira, be reasonable. We
Well,
can't...
reasonable? There's no reason to this whole mad thing. Marjorie, you go on with the cruise. Tony and I will go back to Derna and then meet you in New York.
Oh, no, I'm staying with you.
Oh, do as you like. I'm too upset to argue. Tony, see the purser or the captain or someone and see what arrangements we can make. There's the window. And I remember that carpet shop across the square. The alley should be just ahead.
I hope he can help after what it took to get back here. We've been on everything but a camel.
That's the alley we went down, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Come on. This is it. There's that candle shop.
Still closed.
Doesn't look as though it's ever been opened.
Tony,
Yes, I see. That's strange.
the alley ends in a wall.
But it turned off to the left the last time we were here. That's where the shop was.
An absolutely dead end. How could they have put up a wall? We were here only 3 days ago.
This isn't a new wall, Elvira. Look at it.
What?
It's hundreds of years old.
But this is the alley we came down, and it branched off, and we found the shop. I wasn't dreaming. You were both with me.
Tony, this is frightening.
Well, there's another way in, another alley. I've got to find that shop. I've got to find it.
Come on, Marjorie, be quick.
Which way did she go?
I don't know.
Well, she's disappeared in the crowd.
Stay close to me.
The street's so crowded we can't go fast enough. Oh, Tony, what are we going to do?
We pushed through the crowded streets, and finally, after more than half an hour, we found Elvira.
Mother!
Marjorie! Tony, thank heavens I didn't know where to look for you.
Elvira, get a hold of yourself.
I've asked everyone I could find who spoke any English at all. No one, absolutely no one, ever heard of the shop.
The only thing left to do was to go back to New York. We returned home, and Elvira went into hiding. Of course, everyone assumed we were still on the cruise, so no one called. But Elvira was getting more desperate.
A plastic surgeon's my only hope.
A friend of mine had some work done about a year ago. I could find out the name of his man.
Oh, do it, Tony. Do it today.
Now, Mrs. Graham, Mr. Butler, come in.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're a friend of Charlie Porter's.
Yes, we done some shows together.
Well, now, how can I help you, Mrs. Graham?
This lipstick I'm wearing,
Yes?
I can't get it off. Nothing works, so don't ask me how many things I've tried. I wouldn't be here if anything had helped.
Oh, well, let me see. I'm just going to scrape your lower lip a little. It won't hurt. Yes, the color's embedded in the lip tissue. Seems to be a dye.
Is there anything you can do?
Well, I could try bleach. It would be uncomfortable for a week or so, but probably effective.
Do it. I'll do anything to get out of this clown makeup, but that's only part of my problem.
There's more.
Take my bandana, Tony. Those earrings, Doctor. They won't come off either. They're clasped completely around my earlobe.
How long have you had this condition?
It's been almost a month.
I got the earrings and lipstick in a little shop in Libya, and frankly, they are bewitched. I know that now.
Hold still a moment. Yes, the lobes are beginning to swell. We'll have to work on this. Well, I'm sorry, Mrs. Graham. I'm at a loss to know what to do with these.
Oh,
have you tried...
A machine shop, an auto garage, everything but an acetylene torch.
I must admit I've never seen anything like it.
No one has.
Well, Doctor.
Well, I shall give you the bleach for your lips, apply it twice a day, and then I'll see you again in a week.
Well, and the earrings?
You have to give them some very serious thought, Mrs. Graham. There seems to be nothing I can do, short of removing your earlobes.
Mother, please answer me.
Leave me alone, Marjorie.
What's the matter, Marjorie?
Oh, Tony, thank God you're here. Mother won't come out of her room. She locked herself in hours ago.
There's no harm in that. She's going through hell.
But I want to help her.
You can't help her. All we can do is to be here if she wants us. If she wants to be alone, let her.
That bleach isn't helping her lips. It just makes it harder for her to talk. They're as bright as ever. This morning she came out for breakfast. Tony, I nearly fainted.
I know. She's not a pretty sight.
Her face is so white and lined. Those colors just scream at you.
I thought I heard you, Tony. Where have you been?
Down at the docks. The ship came in this morning. I went to claim our trunks.
Oh, of course, the luggage we left on board when we flew back. I've never given it a thought. Was everything there?
Everything. And everyone.
Everyone?
A welcome home party.
Oh, no.
About 20.
Oh.
They assumed we were still on the cruise.
Oh, Lord, Tony. What did you tell them?
That you and Marjorie stayed on in Nice.
Oh, that's good. Good thinking, Tony. No one will be calling up here.
Oh, here are the trunks. Just put them anywhere for now.
There's the one I'm interested in.
Here you are. And this is for you.
Oh, yes, I'd almost forgotten.
What are you doing, Mother?
My sketches. I may be in hibernation, but Elvira Graham isn't through yet. I'll fix that demon. Oh, yes, here they are.
What is it, Elvira?
Oh. Oh, no. No.
Mother?
What the... No wonder.
Tony, they're blank. Absolutely blank.
Elvira, please.
Mother!
You saw them. Blank. Every last page blank. He's cursed me.
Elvira, come sit down.
Why? What did I do to be cursed like this?
Elvira, time can...
No. Don't feed me any more of your stupid encouragement. What's the matter with you? Look at me. Clown. freak.
Tony, I can't stand this. I've got to leave.
Stay, dear little daughter.
Elvira.
Dear, pretty light of my life. Your beauty won't change your freshness. But just look at your glamorous mother. Look, damn you. I've been damned. For what? Why? Is the answer to that in heaven? In hell? Ah, yes, hell, where that demon came from. That demon who gave me this beauty. The devil himself in his quaint little boutique. The devil's boutique be damned. The devil himself be damned along with me. What did I do? Did I worship beauty too much?
Elvira never spoke another word after that. She returned to her room, stayed there night and day, and 3 days later she was gone.
Go on.
She'd vanished.
You tried to find her?
Oh, yes. We hired a private detective. We didn't want it in the papers or in the police files. After about 6 months, we gave up.
Where do you suppose she's been all this time?
Wandering, hiding, I don't know.
Well, will you look at her body now?
If you insist.
I must. Well, that was quite a story, Mr. Butler. You a writer?
You don't believe it?
I don't know whether I do or not. It's too fantastic to be true. Then again, it's too fantastic to be made up. Well, here we are. Oh, there she...
Oh, no.
What the devil? The earrings are gone.
And the lipstick. Now, do you believe me?
Dear Elvira, you were beautiful, determined, and the world's best designer. You were on your way to becoming the greatest. But be reasonable, Elvira, and look at it this way. There wasn't room for the two of us.
I'll be back in a moment with a final thought. There's nothing wrong in being beautiful to other people. It's when we stop being beautiful to ourselves that we're in trouble. Our cast included Joan Loring, Robert L. Greene, Jada Rowland, Bob Caliban, and Ian Martin. Associate Director, Marlon Swing. This is Hyman Brown, producer-director, inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, then, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. Welcome to the inner sanctum. I'm Hyman Brown. Welcome to the fear you can hear, to the magic of radio drama, a theater whose stage has no bounds but your imagination. For centuries, we've heard of the search for the fountain of youth, for the magic elixir of life eternal. Oh, to be young always, to hold age and death at arm's length. Put it this way, if you could live forever, would you want to? A word of caution before you reply. What might seem at first blush a vision of delight could also be a reality of horror.
I just thought I'd call. I'm your neighbor. Welcome to Lake Raymont.
Well, thank you. Won't you come in, Mrs.
Mallory.
Mrs. Mallory. Eleanor has gone to town on an errand.
Oh, such a lovely-looking child. Must be wonderful to have a granddaughter like that.
Granddaughter?
Well, she is your granddaughter, ain't she?
Eleanor happens to be my wife.
Oh, well, me and my big mouth.
No, that's all right. She does look young, doesn't she?
Oh, yes, she does.
Well, how old would you guess?
16, 17, 18 tops.
Deceptive. Deceptive. She was 18 the day we were married.
Oh, are you newlyweds?
Newlyweds, my dear Mrs. Mallory. We're about to celebrate our 45th wedding anniversary.
Our mystery drama, Age Cannot Wither Her, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Jennifer Harmon. I'll be back shortly with Act One. There are those women who seem to inspire a hopeless passion in men. There are women whose love can never be won, and if captured, can only be held for the moment. We tend to sympathize with the unfortunate men who are caught in their web. Our story is set in the town of Raymont, named, of course, after the celebrated Lake Raymont, that beautiful body of water set high in the Adirondack Mountains. A very determined-looking lady is walking with purposeful stride down the main street. She has an expression on her face that bodes ill for someone.
Sheriff.
Oh, yeah, Mrs.
Mallory.
Oh, yes, yeah, Mrs. Mallory.
Roberta Mallory. It used to be the sheriff knew everybody in town.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Mallory, I'm new here.
I spoke to my husband and the neighbors, and they said, "What are you getting involved for?"
Involved in what?
But I'm a citizen. Now, it's my duty to uphold the law.
Has the law been violated?
Is murder a violation of the law, Sheriff?
You here to report a murder?
These people, the Burnhams, they have the house next to ours on the lake. Now, he's in his 60s, maybe 70s, and she can't be more than 20. Now, what kind of marriage is that?
Well, now, Mrs. Mallory, I must ask you...
Those things don't work. They can't work, and they can lead to murder.
Well, you have any facts for me?
Well, it was just this morning. We were sitting around the dock, my husband and me, and we share this dock with the Burnhams, you see. Well, him and her, him in swimming trunks, and she in that bikini of hers, had come down to the water. We exchanged polite hellos. We're not close. And they get into the sailboat. They got this 16-footer, and off they go.
Yes?
Well, 3-4 hours later, the sailboat comes back. He's all alone. She's not with him. So I say to him, "Where's Miss Burnham?" And you know what he answers?
Well?
He gives me the funniest look, and he says, "Obviously, she's not here."
Well, what happened to her?
I don't know what happened to her.
Well, what did Mr. Burnham say had happened to her?
He said absolutely nothing. Now, here's my point. He can keep his mouth shut when I ask him, but he's got to open it when you ask him.
Mr. Burnham, you tell me what happened to your wife?
I don't know.
Sir, as I understand it, two of you went sailing this morning and you came back alone.
Yes.
Where's your wife?
Sheriff, I've already told you. I don't know.
Did she leave the boat?
Well, obviously. She wasn't there when I returned to the dock.
Mr. Burnham, are you feeling all right?
I have a headache. I suppose it was carelessness on my part. See, we had a very strong breeze on the lake, and she let go of the boom in order to tack, and it swung free. Well, you know how swiftly it travels during that maneuver, and it just caught me across the head. I must have passed out.
For how long?
I don't know. When I came to, she was gone.
When this accident with the boom occurred, where was the boat?
Well, we were quite some distance, well, several miles from shore.
Is your wife a good swimmer?
Well, no.
Then if she did fall overboard, she'd drown.
No, because, well, she couldn't.
Well, how can you say that?
Because nothing can happen to her.
Mr. Burnham, you better explain what that means.
I can't explain it. I can only tell you that Nothing can ever happen to her.
Mr. Burnham, I'm afraid you don't understand the seriousness of your situation.
Oh, I understand. I understand that my marriage of 45 years is over.
But when a man and a wife go sailing and the man returns What did you say about being married for 45 years?
Well, today was our 45th anniversary.
Mr. Burnham, your wife has been described as a woman of about 20.
I know she hasn't changed one bit in almost... Do you realize it's almost half a century, Sheriff? This has been a devastating day for me. I'm required to rest in the afternoon.
I'm sorry. I got to get these answers. What happened to your wife?
Well, as I say, she had decided to leave me. And, of course, she was right. I was making it difficult for her. Well, when I was knocked unconscious, she may have thought this would be the best time to go, so she sailed the boat to shore, got out, and then she set me adrift again.
And where would she go?
Away. Lose herself once again in the world.
Wearing nothing but a bikini? Carrying nothing?
Oh, I'm sure she had access to whatever she needed.
I see. You got a picture of your wife?
Well, we have only one picture in the house. It was taken the day we were engaged. Here, this one over here, on the cabinet.
But that can't be the way she looks now.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Oh, no. She's 45 years older.
Oh, you would think so, but that's not true. When that was taken, I was 25 and she was 19. Today, I'm 70, but she's still 19. Sheriff, excuse me, I'm very, very tired.
Yeah. Why don't you just lie down for a few minutes?
May I? Thank you so much.
That's her.
Mrs. Mallory, please look at this carefully. This is a picture of a 19-year-old girl.
That's right. That's all she was. And this is her.
Mrs. Mallory, this picture is 45 years old.
What? Oh, no. Why, the dress she's wearing, the hair.
Well, those stars have come back, and that's not her boyfriend. It's her husband.
But she's a young girl.
Well, examine this photo very carefully. Could it be somebody who resembles her? Let's say her daughter.
Look, I'm a student of people. Mrs. Burnham had this slight squint in her left eye, you see? And a little mole, right side of her chin. And a kind of curved little scar just above her left eyebrow. Oh, this is Mrs. Burnham. And I saw her just this morning. She can't be close on 70. Why, that would make her older than me.
How do you feel, Mr. Burnham?
Why have I been arrested in the hospital? Why are psychiatrists having a field day with me?
Well, it's part of a mental examination.
In other words, the consensus is that I'm crazy.
Oh, let's say that your behavior after you realized your wife was gone has not been normal.
Now, believe me, Sheriff, when I tell you that my wife is alive and well.
I'd like to believe you. But first, you got to explain certain things you said. You told me she couldn't swim. Yet if she fell overboard, she couldn't drown.
That's right. Because nothing can ever happen to her.
That's what you have to clear up.
I can't. You won't believe me.
Why won't I?
Well, if I tell the true story, they'll put me in an asylum for the rest of my life.
Well...
And if you should believe me, they'll put you there, too.
Believe me, Mr. Burnham, you've got nothing to lose.
Well, my wife was 19 the day I met her 45 years ago. She's been 19 ever since, and she'll be 19 till the world comes to an end.
That's impossible.
Well, let's see, that's the point. Now, you say, tell me the story. I no sooner start when you say, impossible.
Oh, I'm sorry. How did you meet your wife?
I met her in a bank 45 years ago, in a bank in Philadelphia. I'd go in there every Friday afternoon to cash my paycheck, and I noticed this very pretty girl was probably there for the same reason. Well, I fell in love with her. But I didn't know how to go about meeting her. I was very shy. Well, on this particular afternoon, the bank was crowded, but I saw her standing in line. I was wondering, hoping how I could meet her, when suddenly...
Everybody put up your hands. Everybody! Hold on! Don't make a sound! Hey, you crazy thing! Put that phone down!
Operator, this is the Merchants Bank on Chestnut.
Put down that phone!
There's a holdup in progress.
Shoot her!
There are 6 men.
Kill her! Kill her!
All armed, all wearing masks.
Get out of here! Let's get out!
I'm not sure that anyone in the bank was fully aware of what was happening. At the sound of the shooting, everybody threw himself to the floor or jumped behind desks. But I couldn't take my eyes off her. In the confusion, after the bandits ran out, she just very calmly walked through the door. I ran after her. Listen, I have to talk to you.
Who are you?
I think what you just did was, well, it was absolutely terrific.
Would you excuse me, please?
No, look, this isn't a pickup or anything. My name is John Burnham. I'm a chemical engineer. What could be more respectable than that?
I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
I looked at that ring finger on your left hand, and I see you're not married or even engaged. Now, if you're going with somebody, or if you're in love with somebody, okay, I'll take a walk.
That's exactly the way it is. I'm very much in love with...
No, that can't be true. It can't be, because the very second I saw you, I just knew that you and I...
Oh, shut up.
Please.
No, forgive me.
Forgive you? Why, I'm in love with you.
No, you mustn't be in love with me. No one must ever be in love with me. Please go, before it's too late, before I fall in love with you.
Look, you can't help it. You're minding your own business, and suddenly, just like that, it happens.
Yes, I know. I
saw you pick up that phone, and when they started shooting at you, it was a miracle. A miracle how all those bullets could have missed you. See, some of them even ripped through your dress. Look, see there? Your dress is torn.
John Burnham, please turn around and walk away as quickly as you can.
Oh, no.
You say you love me, but I tell you, one day you'll hate me.
How could I ever hate you?
They all hate me in the end.
What do you mean? How many were there?
John...
I don't care.
I shouldn't even be talking to you, but I'm a woman, and like all women, I need love. And it's been so long. Oh, how long it's been.
I love you.
I know that. I should send you away, but I want to be loved again. It's wrong, but I can't help myself.
What are you saying? Why is it wrong?
Maybe this time it'll be different. Maybe you'll be different.
Of course. I will.
Yes. Maybe you can be different. Maybe you can do something that none of the others could. Maybe you can find a way for me to die.
All right. That's a request you don't hear every day. Why should she want to die? She's young, she's beautiful, she should have a whole glorious life in front of her. And yet, didn't she try to die back there in the bank? Didn't she force the bandits to fire at her? Could every bullet have missed her? We'll try to answer all those questions when I return in a few moments with Act 2. Well now, in the ordinary way, dying is hardly ever a problem. It's living that presents us with all sorts of difficulties. Here we have a young lady who's about to become Mrs. Eleanor Burnham, And what does she want her husband to give her for a wedding gift? She would like for him to find a way for her to die. All this is part of the explaining that John Burnham has to do to the sheriff. He is describing how things were the day he met his bride-to-be some 45 years ago.
What do you mean, find a way for you to die?
You should know something about me.
Like what?
My age, for instance.
19 or 20?
Let's walk inside that restaurant.
Oh, sure. How about lunch?
You'd better be sitting down when I tell you how old I am. It would be wrong for me to let you go one step further without telling you the truth about me.
Okay. Let's have the truth. Not that it matters.
My age. You said I looked 19 or 20. I'm only 18.
Well, that's great. I'm 25.
I was born in the year 1554.
Well, every girl should marry a more mature man.
Did you hear what I said? I was born in 1554.
Sure. That means you have to be more than 400 years old. See, it's the same thing for men. They should also marry mature women.
John, I was 18 years old in the year 1572. I've been 18 years old ever since. I simply don't grow older. I can't grow older.
That's fantastic.
Do you realize how long I've lived? How many lives I've lived?
What an absolutely tremendous imagination.
I'm telling you the truth. I can't grow older. I can't be killed. I can't die.
Well, what's wrong with that?
You don't understand. You'll be 30, 50, 65, and I'll still be 18.
Well, is that bad?
You'll die, and I'll still be 18.
Oh, come on. Now, what's all this talk about dying? Everybody dies when his time comes.
Not me. My time never comes. I can't die.
Now, how do we ever get on this subject anyhow?
You saw. In the bank. They all fired their guns at me. Nothing happened.
Well, that's because they all missed.
Let me tell you why I can't die.
Okay. Okay, if it'll make you feel better.
I must tell you. Please listen, and then afterward, if you still want to marry me.
Look, I am going to marry you no matter what.
I was born in Paris.
Paris? Well, Darlene, where's your French accent, huh?
I've had enough time to lose it. I was born in the year 1554. My father was a chemist.
Well, so am I, you see? You see, we have something in common.
Well, today you would have called him an alchemist. He was always experimenting, trying to find what he called the elixir of life.
The elixir of life?
The elixir of life everlasting. I was 18. I remember it was August 23rd, the eve of St. Bartholomew's Day. I was to marry a young lieutenant in King Charles' regiment.
Oh, come on now.
No. You must let me tell this. It was late at night, and I heard a knock on the door, and when I opened it... Philip!
Let me in, quickly. I must not be seen here.
But it's bad luck to see your bride the night before the wedding.
Come with me at once.
What are you saying?
There is no time to lose. I can hide you in my uncle's house. We can trust him.
Philip, what are you...
The king has planned a massacre. All the partisans of Prince Henri of Navarre and all the Huguenots.
You can't be serious.
My own regiment is entrusted to carry it out.
But it's impossible.
Please, there is no time to talk, to argue. It has already begun.
Oh, my father.
You and your father, both of you are marked for death. Now come, quickly.
I won't leave without my father.
Get him. We have no time.
He's downstairs in the cellar.
Hurry.
Father?
Shh, child, do not interrupt.
Father,
This is almost complete.
Father, listen.
That glass bottle from which the vapor is steaming. Hand it to me.
Father, we must leave here at once.
Hand me the bottle, child. Carefully, it may explode. Oh, my poor girl. Here, let me see. Oh, dear me, how fortunate. The breaking glass missed your eye and struck you just above the brow.
Father, there's going to be a massacre. Philip has come to help us escape.
Here, now, press a clean cloth to the wound. It is not deep.
We cannot stay here a moment longer.
You must wait a moment longer. A moment is all I need to mix the potion. You ancient gods, in all your might, lead my way. Grant me light.
Father.
I know. Philip has come to rescue us, but there is no rescue. Philip
will never get us through the streets alive.
We cannot stay here and be murdered.
No. You will not be murdered. Here. This is now ready. Drink it.
What is it?
I think I have found it. It's the elixir.
Oh, Father, such a thing
Such a thing is impossible, you say? Drink it, and you will never die.
Please, you must... Oh, the massacre has begun.
Drink this, quickly, and nothing will ever be able to harm you.
Father...
There is no other escape. I have found the potion. I have said the prayer. Drink it quickly. Save yourself.
Father, you drink.
There is only enough for one.
I don't want to live if everyone else is...
I am your father. I command you to drink. Drink. That's it. All of it. All of it. Now, my child, nothing can harm you.
I fainted from fright, from shock. When I recovered later, my father was dead, beside me. The servants were dead. The house was in ruins. But by that time, the madness had spent itself. It was safe to be on the streets again. I made my way to Philip's house, and he married me.
Well, I guess that means that I'm not your first husband, am I?
Nor my second, nor my third. You see, my father, at the very last moment, had discovered his elixir of life. And what it does is, it prevents you from aging. And aging is what causes death.
Well, sure.
And whenever a part of my body is injured, it heals immediately. So I can't be killed.
Now, why would anyone want to kill you? You are so adorable.
Don't do this to me.
Do what?
Don't make me fall in love with you.
Oh, but I intend to do just that.
It'll be so much harder for me to leave you when the time comes.
You know, you should be a writer. You should write horror stories. You know, those science fiction things.
I wouldn't know how to write.
Oh, you should know how to do everything. I mean, if what you're telling me is true, you should be the wisest person in the world.
Why?
Why? Because you've lived for, 400 years, according to what you say, and you should have learned things, acquired wisdom.
Oh, that's not true. I was just an ordinary girl. I had no special talent or ability. And over the years, over and over again, I kept leading the same kind of life.
Now, why do you have the need to claim that you've been
living... Do you notice my left eye?
Uh-huh.
The scar just above the eyebrow. That glass bottle exploded just before I drank the elixir. And that's the last time I have ever been injured. The very last time.
Okay, I believe you.
You don't really believe me.
Oh, what does it matter? I love you.
Love. When you're young, you think love is all there is, and that it lasts forever.
It does. I know what love is.
And I know what forever is.
Didn't her story strike you as kind of peculiar?
Well, Sheriff, I didn't care.
Mr. Burnham, I'm trying to help. All I know is an elderly gentleman and his very young wife...
No, she's older than I am, than anyone alive today.
Could I just tell you what we're faced with? Now, the two of them go off sailing. He comes back. She doesn't. Am I correct so far?
Yes.
Now, something happened to the wife. The husband doesn't seem to be alarmed. He doesn't notify anybody.
I told you why. Why nothing could ever possibly happen to her.
Meanwhile, the woman is missing, and you come up with this fantastic yarn.
Well, I admit it sounds fantastic.
And you just swallowed it.
No, I didn't just swallow it. I went to see a doctor.
You went? She's the one who needed it.
But she wouldn't go. But why does she lie to me, Doctor?
Well, a woman may lie because she's unsure of her husband's love.
Oh, that isn't so. Now, she knows I love her. I couldn't possibly be more attentive, more affectionate. There's just something strange. Why does she insist on having such a past?
Look, you'd have to tell me something about her background.
Her background?
Are her parents living?
Well, she claims that her father was killed in the massacre of 1572.
Well, she must have friends. She did go to school somewhere. She was raised someplace.
Yes, out west.
Good, where?
I don't know. She never talks about that.
Well, then, Mr. Burnham, getting down to it, you know absolutely nothing about your wife.
Well, none of that seemed important when I fell in love.
I see. When you fell in love, you felt that love was enough.
It still is.
Well, then why have you come to see me?
What? Okay, I see now that I'll just have to put up with those little fables. It's the only fault she has. Oh, when I think of what's wrong with the wives of other men I know. Well, a few years went by. We were happy. I started doing well financially. It seemed to me that there was no reason. Well, see, I'm old-fashioned. And I think one of the basic reasons for marriage is a family.
No.
But you like kids. I've seen you around children.
I don't even want to talk about having children.
But we've been married 10 years. You're 28.
I'm 18.
You should have kids before... Well, your first one before 30.
Look at me. Do I look a day older?
Well,
You look 10 years older. You're still young, but you're over 30, and you look it.
All I want is for us to have children, but if you have a good reason...
The answer is no.
Well, let it be no, but tell me why.
I don't want to bury any more of my children. I can't go through all that again. John, there are certain things you must never ask me.
Have you had children?
Yes, I've had children.
Well, what happened to them? Where are they?
They're dead.
Dead? How?
How? 400, 300, 200 years ago? Children died like flies. The ones who weren't killed by fever died of old age. I refuse to outlive another child.
All right, Eleanor, now look. I think it is time for this nonsense to end. You've got to rid yourself of this terrible delusion.
No. Keep away from me. Don't touch me.
Eleanor.
Let me out of here. Oh, you look like that soldier who stabbed my father. Like the Indian who scalped my daughter.
Eleanor.
Let me out of here.
Eleanor. She ran out of the house. Her car was parked at the curb, and she got inside and drove off wildly, madly. My car was in the driveway, and I started after her. We lived in the hills. We always loved the country. I was barely able to keep her in view. We were climbing higher and higher along a narrow, twisting road along the side of the mountain when suddenly she took a turn too quickly. The car swerved out of control right through the wire guardrail and down the side of the hill, turning over completely and landing on the rocks hundreds of feet below. There was an explosion. The wreckage was a mass of bright flames, a fiercely burning funeral pyre. I climbed down the hill as quickly as I could. I stood helplessly by the car. And then she just walked out of the wreckage. Every stitch of her clothing had been burned away. The gold ring must have melted off her finger. But not a hair was singed. There wasn't a mark on her body.
What does it take to make a believer? She was in the car. It did crash. The impact, the flames would have been enough to kill anyone. Or not anyone fortified with the elixir of life. It's quite a drink, but it needs a chaser, as we shall discover when I return shortly with Act 3. Age cannot wither, nor custom slake her infinite variety, said the poet. Well, our poet friend Shakespeare was talking figuratively. For someone who age cannot wither, we present Eleanor Burnham, or Mrs. John Burnham, if you prefer. Eleanor claims she was born in 1554, that she drank a mysterious elixir of life when she was 18, and she's been 18 ever since. At least, that's the story her husband John is telling the sheriff.
Eleanor, it's a miracle.
No, it's not a miracle. It's the elixir.
To live through that crash.
John, do you believe me? Now do you believe me?
Yes, Eleanor. Yes, I have to believe you.
Are you telling me that she lived through a car crash like that one?
Yes, Sheriff. Yes.
Mr. Barnum, you're an intelligent man, but you evidently find yourself in, an intolerable situation. You were jealous of your wife's youth, beauty. You could no longer keep pace with it.
Sheriff, I didn't kill her. I love her.
So you manufacture this, well, it's up to you. We'll drag the lake. We'll find her body.
No. She went away to begin another lifetime.
No, sir. She might have gone away if you hadn't drowned her. And we know with whom.
What are you talking about?
Would the man's name be Peter Collins?
What? What do you know about Peter Collins?
I've been doing some investigating. Your wife has been having an affair.
No, it wasn't an affair. We talked about it, Eleanor and I.
Well, if it wasn't an affair, what was it?
But, Eleanor, if it isn't an affair, what is it?
I was driving into the city, and the car started acting up. I had to pull over to the side of the road, and he happened by. He was very nice enough to fix it.
How many times have you seen him?
Well,
How many?
Just a few times.
Why?
Oh, John, the day you and I met, I said, John Berman, walk away. Turn around and walk away fast as you can. One day you'll hate me. That day is here.
Why?
Do you have to ask why? Look at yourself. You're almost 70. I'm still 18.
But, Eleanor...
I can't help it. I can't help myself.
Please.
Oh, John. I've never had a chance to become anything but an 18-year-old girl. My blood is 18, my heart, the things I want, the things I need. I'm sorry. You're no longer the...
Eleanor, I love you.
It's no longer the kind of love I need.
Eleanor.
Oh, John, please pity me.
Pity you?
Yes, me. How many times have I stood like this, talked like this, had my heart broken like this? And I must do it again and again. Each time I hope, I pray, maybe he'll be different. Maybe he'll be different. I thought maybe you'd be different.
I tried to love you more.
But I don't want love. I've had too much love. I want death. If you really loved me, you'd kill me. Kill me, and I'll be free.
How can I kill you? You can't die.
Find a way.
How?
I don't know how. What do I know? I'm just a young girl who was born at the end of the Dark Ages. This is a new world. Civilized. Scientific. Can't you find a way? You're a part of that world.
You want me to kill you?
Kill me. Take me with you when you die. I'll go with you. I love you best. I love you more than any of them.
But I don't know...
For the first time, I have hope. You're a man like my father. You're a chemist.
No, I'm a chemical engineer.
And he was an alchemist. It's the same mystery, isn't it?
Well,
He found an elixir of life. You find me an elixir of death.
I thought it was crazy. But what could I do? I tried. I had to try, and so I went about it scientifically. Something existed in her blood, her tissues. I boned up again on pathology, biology, hematology. I analyzed her blood. I searched. I tried every approach I could think of. But there was nothing to be seen. Nothing to be found. Did you ever hear your father mention any names of things, of chemicals?
Sulfur, nitrites, I think gold, silver, mercury.
Yes, and?
Oils.
What kind of oils?
The only kind of oils used in those days were olive oils. They were used for everything, for cooking, for soothing wounds.
For soothing wounds. Burns, yes. Now, this elixir, this potion you drank, what did it taste like?
I can't remember.
You must remember.
Well, it was so long ago.
Try to remember.
They were breaking down the door to kill us. I was so frightened.
Please try to remember.
Well, he recited a certain verse.
What do you mean, a verse?
It was a prayer, a magic prayer. I guess you'd call it an incantation.
I don't mean nonsense like that.
Don't call it nonsense. My father believed it. Without the incantation, it couldn't. Nothing could have ever been done. Listen, I remember how he would say it. You ancient gods in all your might, lead my way and grant me light.
Well, all I can do is try. Keep trying. And I did, Sheriff. I did.
I suggest you either get a new story, or you stick to that one you try to make it just a bit more believable.
I know. It is difficult for you.
You say you tried to find a way to kill her.
Yes, and the other morning, I thought I had matched something that... Well, I called her into my laboratory.
What is it?
Drink it.
Do you think you found?
I don't know. Drink it.
First, you must say the prayer.
Eleanor, please.
Hold the cup to the light. Now pray. Say it. You ancient gods in all your might, lead my way and grant me light.
Oh, very well, very well. You ancient gods in all your might, lead my way and grant me light. Now drink it. Well?
I don't know. How shall I try to die?
Well, have you ever thought of drowning? Well, darling, we're out of sight of everyone now.
I should have gone out alone.
Why? I want to be here.
Well, the Mallorys, they saw us leave. If you come back alone, they might...
I know, dear, but I won't come back alone because, you see, you're not going to die.
I'm not?
No, this potion, this formula, whatever you want to call it, it can't work. I failed you.
But you said the prayer.
I also overheard the phone conversation.
Which conversation?
I wasn't asleep. I listened on the extension. I shouldn't have. But you and Peter planned to run away today.
John.
I don't blame you.
John, if you can't kill me, I can't live with you any longer.
And Peter's going to be waiting for you at the south end of the lake.
If I'm still alive.
You'll be alive.
No. Somehow, I believe you're the one who's destined to be different. You have found the way to kill me.
I found nothing.
But you said the prayer, just the way my father said it, with the same tone in your voice.
I hope you'll be happy with Peter. I loved you.
Hold down the tiller. I'm going to release the boom.
No, don't.
John!
Oh!
Oh, John!
The swinging boom caught me. I heard her scream, and then I blacked out. When I came to, well, I told you the story.
So you think she ran off with the guy, Peter?
Yes, it was what she had planned, and I don't blame her.
Mr. Sheriff? Yeah. Uh-huh. Sure. Okay, I'll bring him right over. You want to put on your robe and slippers, Mr. Burnham?
Well, where are we going?
For a little walk. Just down the hall here. Around the corner. Stop at the next door.
Why did we come here?
That lettering on the door, what does it say?
Morgue. Why did we come to the morgue?
After you, Mr. Burnham.
Why are we here?
On the table, Mr. Burnham. You see who that is on the table?
No. Eleanor.
They just got her body out of the lake. She's drowned.
Then I found the elixir. I don't even remember what I mixed. But the important thing... You know what the important thing was, Sheriff? The prayer. The prayer.
But Doc says she didn't die of drowning. She's been poisoned.
Of course. It was the elixir of death. And now she's free.
I'll be back in a moment with a final thought. Well, she may be free, but poor John wasn't. He was accused of poisoning his young wife, although the jury lent a sympathetic ear to his story. They turned an analytical mind to the verdict, which was life. Our cast included Jennifer Harmon, Joe Silver, Bryna Rayburn, Ken Harvey, and Earl Hammond. Associate Director, Marlon Swing. This is Hyman Brown, Producer-Director, inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, then, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. Welcome to Mystery Theater. I'm Hyman Brown. Of all the fears that plague mankind, probably the most terrible was the possibility of being buried alive. Oh, don't shrink away. You have nothing to fear, modern medical science being what it is. But not so many years ago, the thought of waking up in one's closed coffin beneath 6 feet of earth, that was a horrible thought indeed, and an ever-present danger, which led, in at least one case, to a remarkably strange experiment.
Let me go. Oh, please let me go. I'm dead, I tell you, I'm dead.
Guy, I must release her.
No, Gordon, no, she's alive.
Only my spirit lives. My body has been dead for days.
Guy, I beg you, let me release her from the spell of mesmerism I cast over her.
Yes. Release me.
No, Victory, no. Oh, no, my darling. If I let Gordon break his hold on you, you will be dead, and I can't face the horror of that.
Then a worse horror awaits you. A horror far, far worse.
Our mystery drama, The Premature Burial, was adapted from the Edgar Allan Poe classic, especially for the Mystery Theater, by George Lothar, and stars Keir Delay. I'll be back shortly with Act 1. As you may know, I'm an inveterate and incurable reader of diaries. The Paston letters, John Evelyn, Pepys, Boswell. I've read them all, and many more besides. Daily journals of lesser-known people. In so doing, I've happened upon some curious tales, but none, I assure you, that can match the sheer terror of the one I bring you now. I happened upon it years ago in a small out-of-the-way bookshop in London, England. It's the journal of a young doctor, Dr. Gordon Rainey, and it recounts certain events that took place in the year 1810. Now, let me see where to begin. Oh, yes, here. I arrived at the Bull and Bear Inn in Salisbury, the doctor writes, in the worst of storms.
And having stabled my horse and seen to its proper care, soon found myself in the rooms my friend Guy Peterson had in for himself. In all the years I'd known him, since undergraduate days at Cambridge, I'd never known this closest of my friends to be in such a state of overwrought nerves.
Thank God you come, Gordon. Thank God you're here at last, my friend.
I came as soon as I could after getting your message, but what is it? I've never seen you in such a state of nerves. Thank God, you're actually trembling.
She's dead. Dead, you see, and they buried her last week, but I must see her once again. Gaze on her face.
Now look at me.
What?
Look at me. Look full into my eyes.
What? Gordon, what are you doing?
I'm merely calming you down through the use of mesmerism.
Mesmerism? What in heaven's name is that? And why do you stare at me? As if I...
That's right, old friend, that's right. Calm down. Quiet yourself. Relax. Just loosen up. Let yourself go. That's it. That's it. There now. Feel better?
Why, yes. But how did you do it? What is this? Mesmerism, did you say?
Yes. A means of controlling another person by, well, to put it simplistically, dominating him with one's own will, the force of one's own willpower.
But that's miraculous, and yet you did it. I feel ever so much calmer now because you made me.
Good. And now, Guy, calmly tell me why you sent that urgent message to meet you here in Salisbury.
Victorine is dead.
Ah, well, I know how you must feel, and of course I sympathize deeply, but her death, isn't it a blessing?
A blessing? She's dead. Victorine is dead.
And at last free of the hellish life Sir Giles Buckingham led her. Come now, Guy. Is that not something to thank God for?
Well, I suppose so.
Oh, my dear good friend. I know how much you loved her.
Loved her? She was my heart, my soul, my very life. A life that's ended for me when her family forced her to marry Sir Giles.
We've talked of it again and again, but now that she is dead, perhaps you can try to take up your life again.
I must see her, Gordon.
See her?
That's why I'm here. Why I asked you here. I must see her, Gordon. Gaze upon her lovely face once more.
But she's buried a week ago, you said.
In the family vault on the Buckingham estate. I want to go there tonight. Force entry into the vault, open her coffin, and look at her once more. Just once more. I need you because I fear to go alone.
There is more to fear than that, Guy.
What do you mean?
A body, dead and buried for a week in a damp and virtually airless vault. Guy, you will not see Victorine as she was in life.
I shall see her.
Guy, this is mad. I beg you to...
I must! I don't care what she has become. I must see her once more. Must I do it alone? Will you help me?
If it is your wish, you wish it so strongly, then... Yes, I'll help you.
We must be careful not to be discovered, Gordon. This moonlight makes everything as clear as day.
There'll be no one about unless the estate is guarded at night against poachers.
Let's hope not. Wind kicking up. That should help a little. Cover any sound we make.
Yes.
Here's the gate to the estate.
Is it locked?
Soon find out. No. Come. There. So much for that.
Now, The location of the vault, do you know where it is?
Yes. That line of copper beaches on the hill, do you see them?
Yes.
The vault lies just beyond. Come.
Wait!
That barking dog. If the place is guarded by a dog, or even dogs...
Now, don't let your nerves get the best of you. Bad enough to face trouble when it comes, not before.
That dog. It's here on the grounds, and closer. Gordon?
Steady, man, steady. Yes, it's on the grounds, all right, and coming this way. Come, let's step out into the open.
Into the open?
If the dog is coming this way, I want to meet it in full moonlight.
Why, Gordon? Why?
Because my only chance of subduing the beast, if it can be done, will be with my eyes. My voice, too, yes, but the eyes. There, I see it. Coming over the hill against the moonlight.
Good Lord. A monstrous animal, Gordon.
It's a mastiff, and a big one. And he's caught our scent. Come on, step out into the moonlight. Quickly, or all is lost.
Yes. Gordon, I'm scared.
Stand still. Make no move. Leave this to me. All right, boy. Quiet down. Quiet down now. That's a good dog. That's it. We're not here to do you any harm, boy. We're friends. Your friends. Yes, that's right, boy. There's a good dog. A fine dog.
Unbelievable. You stopped him with your eyes. Held him to the one spot just by looking at him, and with your voice you soothed him. You calmed him. Took all the fight out of him.
Yes. And now, let's get on to the vault.
Here we are. The vault.
Locked?
Afraid so. I'll have to use the pry bar I brought.
Well, be as quiet as you can.
Yes. There. Gate's open. We can go in. Light the lantern, Gordon.
Guy, once more, I urge you not to go through with this.
I must. You know I must.
Now listen to me.
Light the lantern.
I'm lighting the lantern, but listen to me. You remember Victorine as she was, the lovely, innocent, gentle girl who was forced to marry Sir Giles 7 years ago. The torments he put her through, the daily torture of living with such a beast, these alone would have changed her face. But she's dead as well, and buried here a whole week. Guy, I beg you once again, remember her as she was, not as she must now be.
Shine the lantern about.
Very well.
Oh, dear heaven. There are at least a dozen coffins piled one on another. How can we tell which is Victorine's?
Hers would be one of the topmost. Yes, and the velvet covering would be the newest. The brass studs still bright. That one up there, I think.
Let's get it down and see.
Just let me put the lantern over there. So. Now then, I'll take the head of the coffin, you the other end. Can you reach it?
Just.
All right, pull then. Now, pull it to the edge. And when we get it to the edge, we can put our hands under it and let it down very gently.
Yes. Gordon.
I heard it.
What was it? It can't be what I thought.
A voice.
And it comes from inside the coffin. Oh, dear heaven above, this is Victorine's. Gordon, she's alive. Alive.
Let's put it on the ground. On the ground. Easy now. Easy. The pry bar now. Pry off the lid.
Yes.
Well, hurry, man.
My nerves. Hands trembling, no strength.
Give it to me. Now then.
Hurry.
Well, I'm working as fast as I can. There.
The lantern. Quickly, the lantern.
Yes.
Shine it into the coffin.
There.
Oh, look. Victorine alive. Alive.
Guy, it's you. Oh, God, thank you, thank you. Horrors I've been through.
All right, gently now, my dear, gently.
Gordon, you, Gordon.
Yes, my dear. Come on, Guy, lend a hand. Help me lift her out.
Oh, I can't believe this.
Buried alive, oh, my dearest. It must have been horrible for you.
I don't want to think about it. I can't tell you. To wake up, at first not knowing where you are, and everything black, pitch black, suffocating, scarce enough air to breathe.
Best not to think about it.
And then you move, and you feel the sides of the coffin narrow, so narrow, and you reach up and you touch the lid, but the lid's only an inch or two from your face, and then suddenly you know. Oh, heaven help me, you know. You scream with the terror of it. You scream and scream and
Stop
scream.
it. Stop it at once. At once.
Yes, Gordon.
You're alive, and that's all that matters.
Yes.
And thanks to what I called a mad impulse, you're safe.
Oh, yes. Oh, my darling, my dearest.
Sweetheart, sweetheart.
Now, listen to me,
darling.
you two. Listen, we face a problem.
What problem?
Well, how are you going to take her back to Sir Giles? How explain all this? Sir Giles will have us arrested for breaking and entering.
She's not going back to Sir Giles. She's coming with me, away from this hellish place.
Oh, my darling.
You can't do that. She is his wife.
I'll die before I let Sir Giles get his hand on her.
A promise you may very well keep, my dear sir.
What?
It's Giles.
How did you...
The barking of my dog aroused me. I, in turn, roused my keepers, who are out and about scouring the woods. As it happens, I came this way, saw the light of your lantern flickering in the vault, and prepared to surprise what I thought to be grave robbers. Well, as it happens, I am the one surprised. Indeed, I'm shocked. I scarcely expected to find Victorine alive.
Yes, she's alive. And from here on, Sir Giles will live, I pray, a far happier life with me than ever she did with you. Move aside, sir.
I think not. If you're going anywhere, my friend, you and your accomplice, it's to jail. As for my wife, since she is returned to life, she will also return to me.
Oh, no.
You don't move, sir, I warn you. But if you do, it will give me extreme pleasure to blow your head off with this gun. Extreme pleasure.
I confess that at this point in Dr. Gordon's journal, I thought the tale was over and done with. I was wrong, for it was only the beginning. Mystery Theater will continue shortly with Act 2. Well, as I said, I thought that Dr. Gordon Rainey's story had come to an end. He had gone with his friend, Guy Peterson, to the vault where the woman he loved lay dead in her coffin, only to find her alive. And then, as he planned to run away with her, to save her from further torments at the hands of her husband, he was stopped by the appearance of that same husband, gun in hand, promising to have him and Dr. Rainey jailed.
Giles, I entreat you. Let them go. They've done no harm. On the contrary, if it hadn't been for Guy and Dr. Rainey, I'd even now be lying in my coffin, alive.
Would that you were. Damn you, woman, would that you were. Your unexpected return from the grave will lose me a fortune.
But how can my being alive cost you anything?
Lady Hastings is a widow. Lady Hastings has an income of $30,000 a year. I proposed marriage to her on Tuesday, and she accepted me.
You proposed marriage to another woman 3 days after your wife died?
Why not? I'm alive, very much alive, and to live one needs money. Why the look, Dr. Rainey?
You have more sense, it seems, than sensitivity, Sir Giles.
Insulting me will only worsen matters for you, Doctor, if that's possible. You can't be as unaware as you would like to seem that your career is ruined. A doctor, a physician, arrested for breaking and entering a mortuary, a sacred repository of the dead.
Sir Giles, you mustn't do this to Dr. Rainey. He helped me because he's my friend, a good and true friend. He was against it from the very start and would never have agreed to assist me had it not been for his deep and abiding sense of loyalty.
Oh, do stop, do, or you shall have me in tears.
Tears from a stone. A miracle.
Stone, am I? Very well, then. Stone that will crush you, dear wife. Crush you until the death you've escaped will seem a paradise to you.
Put down that gun and I'll...
Ah, but I've no intention of putting down the gun. Certainly not until the bailiff arrives and takes you into custody, to jail, where I shall see to it you rot, the two of you.
What do you mean, rot?
I mean, quite simply, that once you're put in jail, you will never leave it. You will rot there, Doctor.
You make no sense, Sir Giles. The penalty for breaking and entering...
Penalties? Who speaks of penalty?
I do. There are laws in this nation.
But only one law here, me. I am the law in the village of Buckingham. I am Buckingham.
Oh, and he is.
No, Sir Giles. You will not imprison this man for the rest of his life, nor will you imprison me.
Oh? And may I ask why not?
Because I say so. Because I tell you so. Now, don't look away. Look at me. Look into my eyes. Have the courage to look into them and tell me then. Will you imprison us?
Mesmerism.
Why, such is my intention, yes.
Is your intention, Sir Giles? Or was?
Well, it certainly was. I mean to say, well, the way you put it, most eloquently.
Good Lord. It's working. He's doing it again.
Doing what?
And you, being a man of sensitivity, my eloquence, the validity of what I say, has touched you. Is that not so? It is so, isn't it?
Yes. Seen in a different light, so to speak, yes, it would serve no purpose to put you in jail. None really.
And so you let us go? You will let us go?
Yes, go. Get out of my sight, the two of you, and never come back.
Let us leave, Guy.
Victorine.
Under the law, there's nothing we can do. She is his wife.
I can't leave her.
You must. The bailiff will be here any moment, and I can't dominate Sir Giles' will with mine much longer.
Victorine.
Go, my darling.
What? To leave you with him?
No, whatever happens to me will be harder to bear if you are in prison. Go, I entreat you. Go.
Second thought.
He's coming out of it. Guy, my friend, I've done all I can for you, and I'll not see my career ruined because you...
Because you're right. Goodbye, my darling, my dearest.
Goodbye.
Mesmerize me, Gordon. Do something. Do anything to relieve me of this torment.
You must control yourself.
I think of her, dream of her. She is never out of my thought, and always I am stricken with the thought that my very imaginings are as nothing to what he is really doing to her. The beatings, the starving of her, her very loneliness, the vile subjection to his passions. Oh, merciful heaven, I shall go out of my mind.
Yes, Guy, you shall. Unless you pull yourself together. Now, if you don't stop thinking of her, if you don't stop letting your fancy invent miseries, she is very likely not suffering. You will go insane. You will.
Someone at the door. Who?
Were you expecting someone?
No one. Whom would I want to see?
I'll answer. Victorine!
Save me, Gordon, save me.
Good heavens. Come in, my dear. Guy, look, it's Victorine.
Victorine? Oh. It is. It is. My dearest,
I could bear it no more. Oh, yes. Oh, hold me in your arms. Hold me.
Oh, Victorine.
He may kill me, but I'll never go back. Never. He never loved me. And now he hates me because I keep him from marrying Lady Hastings and her fortune and makes me pay. Oh, save me from him. Never let him take me back.
Gordon, she's fainting.
Here, Victorine, some brandy. Now, lie down on the couch.
There, my love. Lie back. Relax.
Let me take over, Guy. Go and bar the door, and bar it solidly.
Bar the...
He must know she has fled, and to where she has fled, and he cannot risk her out of his sight because...
Because what? Damn it, what? Say it!
No, let me say it for him. Because once again I am near death.
No!
Yes. Unless I can find rest. Unless I can feel myself safe from him. I shall die.
You will not.
I want to die.
Now stop talking, man. For once, act. Now bar that door.
Yes.
Too late.
No, I threw the bolt.
Not enough.
Open up, I say, or I'll have the door broken down.
Gordon, what shall I do?
Well, unless you want a smashed door with nothing gained, open it.
Open, you hear? Open!
He'll take her back to Buckingham.
Yes, he will. She's his wife. There's nothing you can do.
Now, damn you all. At it again, are you? Stealing my wife? Taking what belongs to me? You men, take her.
No.
Over my dead body.
Take her.
No.
Enough! Oh, enough! Stand back or I'll brain you with this candlestick. All right, then. You'll be next, my friend. If you don't...
Very well. Move back. You're quite a hand with a candlestick, Dr. Rainey.
Yes.
You've laid my man out. I trust you know what this means for you.
Perhaps you should consider what it means for you, Sir Giles.
Me, sir?
Yes, you're not in Buckingham now. You're in London.
Seeking a wife who's run from her husband to a lover.
No, sir. A woman who has come to her doctor.
What? What do you say?
Your is dangerously ill. You have only to use your eyes to see that. I, being her friend, I am sure she sought me at my residence, and, not finding me there, came here.
Adroit? Most adroit, Dr. Rainey. May I ask, then, if you've prescribed for her illness?
Not as yet, Sir Giles.
But you will?
Yes.
Not good enough, Dr. Rainey. As her husband, or lawful husband, I intend to take her back with me to Buckingham. Victorine, my darling, come with me.
No.
Oh, really, now, you've no choice.
No.
Take your hands off her.
No.
If you...
Guy, you have no recourse. In the eyes of the law, she is his wife. He wants her, and you cannot keep her from him.
Sensibly said, Doctor. Here, dear wife, good wife, faithful and loyal wife, take my hand and let me help you from off that couch. Take my hand.
Vile. You are vile. Filthy. Foul. I shall never touch you again. I'd rather burn off my hands than touch you, you evil man. I'll die rather than go back with you. Die.
Damn you, come.
No. No. No.
Gordon.
She is dead.
Oh, no.
Are you sure, Doctor? She was pronounced dead once before, you know.
There is no pulse. I can detect no vital signs. To all intents and purposes, she is dead.
You modern-day doctors, always escaping in words and phrases, to all intents and purposes, which is to say, you're not sure.
Who is sure of anything, Sir Giles? However, considering what has gone before, we will keep her here under observation for a few days.
You'll do nothing of the sort. You men, pick her up and bear her to my carriage.
No! Wait, what are you doing?
Possessing myself of my property, sir. Whether it be alive or dead.
But you can't do this. You
Take
can't
her
do...
to my carriage.
Gordon!
There is nothing either of us can do. And, Guy, she is dead. I'm virtually sure of that.
What if she is not?
Don't trouble yourself. Your own friend, a man you trust, Dr. Gordon Rainey, has pronounced her dead. All I intend to do is see that she is properly buried. This time, to stay properly buried.
Is she dead? You must understand, in those days, more than a century ago, one was never sure. Mystery Theater will return shortly with Act 3. Think for a moment how you would feel if you thought someone you loved might conceivably have been buried alive, and you will understand the feelings of Guy Peterson. Think again how you would feel if you were a close friend of Guy's, a physician who risks his career every time he consents to help Guy spirit his beloved from her tomb, and you will then understand why Dr. Gordon Rainey wrote in his journal,
I feel if Guy is not mad, he is close to it. He has never been a robust man, but on the contrary, something of a neurotic. So it was that I refused, and again refused when he begged.
Help me. I beg you, Gordon, help me.
That is what I am trying to do, by refusing what you ask. If we were caught in the act of entering the Buckingham Vault the first time, we would surely be caught a second. There can be no doubt that Sir Giles is having the place guarded.
If there's a guard, we'll get past him somehow, or knock him unconscious, or yes, you could mesmerize him as you did that dog and Sir Giles.
Guy, my dear, good friend, listen to me. First, Victorine is dead.
How can you say that? She suffers, she must suffer from some sort of malady that makes her only appear to be dead. There are such maladies.
Yes, everything you say is true, but...
You admit she could yet be alive. Buried alive in that tomb even now.
Now, stop that. Stop it. The second thing I was going to point out is that mesmerism doesn't always work. Some people, the kind of peasant type who'd likely be guarding the vault, cannot be brought under the hypnotic influence.
Yes, but...
And a third thing is this. I am a doctor. If I get caught again, Sir Giles could end my career, and all I have tried to be, all the good I can accomplish in this world, would be set at naught. I'm sorry, Guy. I cannot risk it again.
Then I must do it alone.
You will not do it alone.
You cannot stop me. No one, nothing can stop me from rescuing Victorine from that vault.
Guy, you are mad. You are thinking irrationally, acting senselessly.
That's my concern, and certainly no longer yours.
Oh, Guy.
Leave me, Gordon. I must prepare for the journey to Salisbury. Well, leave, I said.
No. I'll go with you.
You've changed your mind?
I have not. But this is a mad business, and I'm a fool to help you, but I am also your friend.
Gordon?
Yes.
The vault is guarded.
Yes. I see the man. A big brute he is.
Do you think you can mesmerize him? Bring him under, what did you call it?
Hypnotic influence? I doubt it. He's the type I told you about. All muscle and little brain. It's a dark night to make things worse. You wouldn't be able to see my eyes clearly.
Do you dare try?
Well, I have no choice. But keep this in mind, Guy.
Yes?
If I fail, as I most certainly shall, run for it. Do you understand? Don't try to fight him. Run.
Yes, whatever you say.
All right, now then. Let's step out of these bushes and walk toward him. Say and do nothing. Leave things to me. Come.
Who's there?
Oh, don't shoot, friend.
Then stand where you be. There. Let me have a look at you.
Of course. We mean no harm, friend. We are simply two gentlemen who got lost in these woods, and so...
Well, how come you're lost? This here is Buckingham Manor, and it's surrounded, all of it, with an iron fence. Yes. How come you got in?
Well, we really don't know. It's a dark night, and our eyes couldn't see much.
A likely story.
You must believe me. My sight is very poor as it is, very poor. Look for yourself. Look into my eyes and see for yourself.
Yeah, now, what is this? Look into your eyes? It's up to the manor house with you two. Will you answer to Sir Giles for trespassing on his...
Guy, that takes care of him.
You stabbed him.
You couldn't control him.
I said to run if I couldn't, but... Oh, Guy, I think you've killed him.
Quickly, into the vault.
Wait. What's happened to you? Don't you realize that you've just murdered a man and it's... Oh, you've gone mad. You have gone mad.
I am as sane as you. But mad or sane, I must get Victorine out of that vault. Now, come!
All right, but... Heaven help me, what have I got myself into now?
The pry bar. Where is it? Where?
Well, you had it.
Oh, yes. I must hurry. Hurry, she's alive in there. Her coffin alive. I must... There. Come along, Gordon. Come along.
All right.
There. There's a coffin.
Yes.
Look fast. Get the lid off.
Insane. He's gone insane.
Victorine? Can you hear me? Are you alive, my dearest? Perhaps fainted. Oh, Gordon? That's possible, isn't it? Alive but in a faint?
Oh, Guy, my poor dear friend.
There. The lid's off and she...
Dead. As I told you, dead.
Well, we can't be sure. You know we can't be sure.
Guy, in the name of reason...
Help me! Help me get her out of the coffin.
To what purpose?
We'll take her back with us to London and...
Take her back where?
To my place.
The first place Sir Giles will come to.
Then to yours.
Mine? Do you realize what you're asking of me?
If you're the friend you claim to be...
But what you ask is impossible. You've already made me your unwitting accomplice to murder, and now... Guy, you are out of your mind.
And you, Gordon, are no friend.
Guy, I beg you, leave her where she is. She's dead. Leave her at peace.
She is not dead, and I am taking her back to London.
If whoever may read these pages of my journal thinks me a fool, I could not agree more. But Guy was my closest friend, and what's more, was clearly deranged by the love he bore Victorine, and his horror of letting her be buried alive. So we took her body to my rooms in London. 3 days she lay on the couch in my sitting room, Guy never leaving her side night or day. But on the 3rd day I knew something must be done to end this madness of his.
Look at her. There's no sign, not one, of decomposition.
Yes, because it is the middle of winter and we've kept the windows open and no fire in the fireplace. This sitting room of mine is a virtual ice house.
I know.
Now listen to me. What you persist in doing is not only lunacy, it is sacrilege. The dead deserve decent burial. If you love Victorine, as you say you do, let us bury her, Guy. Bury her tonight.
Where?
Then you will.
Yes. Where can we take her?
Well, I thought of that and prepared for it. A grave awaits her body in St. Pancras Cemetery. All is arranged. We can take her now under cover of night.
Then let us do it.
Good. Now, I've kept my carriage waiting below. Do you want to carry her, or shall I?
Let me. It will be the last time I hold it in my arms.
All right. Pick her up, Guy.
Yes. Gordon? Oh. Gordon, what was that?
It's nothing. Come on, let's go downstairs.
But she gave a sigh when I picked her up.
Guy.
You heard? Gordon, you heard?
Good Lord, I did. Here, move aside.
She's alive. I knew it. Alive.
Quiet, man. In heaven's name, be quiet. Victorine, do you hear me?
Yeah.
I have taken your hand in mine. Do you feel it?
No.
Can you open your eyes? If you can, open them.
She has. Gordon, she's gazing at me.
Victorine, do you see Guy?
My darling. Farewell.
Farewell?
I am near death.
No.
Only a spark of life remains.
No! No, she must not die. Gordon, stop her.
What are you saying?
Mesmerism. The hypnotic influence. Use it.
Are you mad? Use it? How?
Command her not to die. Command her to live.
Command her to live? Command what to live when there was scarce a breath of life in her? Her mind, her spirit, what? But I did it. May God, in his infinite mercy, forgive me. I did it. Using the powers of mesmerism, I held her eyes with mine and commanded her, forced her to live. Even though, over and over, she cried out,
I am dead. Let me go. I'm dead.
But I did not let her go, could not let her go, because, yes, I confess it, because the experiment fascinated me. I, Dr. Gordon Rainey, committed for over 5 long weeks, committed the sin, the crime, the sacrilege of holding the spirit within a dead body to this earth, even though it pleaded, entreated, begged.
Release me. Oh, release me.
In a short time, yes. But tell me first, what are you? Spirit? Soul? Mind? What?
I am dead. Dead. Dead.
What's that? Someone at the door. I'll answer. You!
Found you at last, eh, you damn grave robber?
Sir Giles.
Yes, and you, Dr. Rainey, who so help me, will no longer be called doctor when I'm through with you.
No, Giles, no.
Oh, what's this? She lives?
No, Sir Giles.
But she speaks. I heard her speak. Here, let me see for myself.
Stay away from her. Don't you touch her.
Get out of my way, you...
Don't touch her, I said. Don't touch her. Oh.
You shot him. You killed Guy.
Before he stabbed me to death, as he stabbed my servant. Self-defense, sir. And now enough of this. I came for my wife's body, but it appears I shall be taking her wife back to Buckingham Manor with me. Rouse her. Rouse her at once.
I cannot, Sir Giles. She is dead. Has been dead for more than 6 weeks.
I heard her speak.
Yes. But it was her soul, her spirit, I don't know what, but not her body. Her body is dead.
Yes, dead. I beg you don't hold me any longer. Guy is here. Let me go to him. I say to you that I am dead. Let me go.
She comes with me.
No. She goes where she should have gone long since now, had it not been for me. Victorine, I release you. Go, and in the sanctity of death, join the lover you never had in life.
What's happening? Her body, it's disintegrating before my eyes, rotting, moldering. Horrible! Horrible!
I'll be back shortly with a final thought. The Premature Burial is only one tale by the master Edgar Allan Poe that I've had the pleasure of bringing you. We now owe, and generations to come will owe, so much to his imagination, his vibrant fancy. But it might be nice to think of him now and then, and let his name pass through your thoughts, as it does through mine, and to wish him well, wherever he may be. Our cast included Keir DeLay, Paul Hecht, Guy Sorrell, and Marion Seldes. Associate Director, Marlon Swing. This is Hyman Brown, Producer-Director, inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, then, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. Welcome to the inner sanctum. Welcome to the fear you can hear. I am Hyman Brown. Won't you sit down and relax with me for the next, like less than an hour, and listen to a tale of murder? Or is that statement exactly fair? The dictionary defines murder as the unlawful killing of another with malice aforethought. Well, undoubtedly, there is killing with malice aforethought, but the question here is, what or who was killed?
Don't try to blame it on me. It's always blamed on me. I won't take it any longer. I won't take the guilt. Where else does it lie? Not on me. Not on me ever again. I'll make sure of that. I'll kill you. How can you kill what was never alive? Only one way. I'll tear you apart. Yes, without you I have no life. What you have left without me? I no longer care. Tear you apart, limb from limb, socket by socket.
Freddie, in heaven's name, what are you doing?
I'm destroying what is destroying me.
But there is no act without the two of you.
There is no me, as long as he exists. You know that better than anyone, Sarah. It's done. Forever. Maybe now I can live. Maybe it's worth murder to achieve some kind of freedom.
Our mystery drama, The Voice of Death, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Victor Jory. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Ventriloquism is one of man's most ancient arts. It's as old as the Chinese cultures, and almost certainly it was practiced by priests who created such seeming miracles as the speaking statues of Egypt and the Greek oracles. Down through the millennia, it flourished, and when it became sheer entertainment through vaudeville, radio, and television, it reached its highest popularity. Then, suddenly, ventriloquism lost its popularity, a fact that Janus the Great is not yet prepared to face.
Who was I?
Fat Freddie Goldstein from the East Bronx, a little schlep. I was scared to go to school even. They beat up on me all the time because I wouldn't fight back, and it was funny to watch a fat kid cry. Then I read an ad in the paper and saved up my lunch money to send away for Professor Fantasorio's magical method of voice projection. Amaze, delight, and mystify friends and foes alike by the ancient and mystical art of ventriloquism. It changed my life because for some reason it was easy to me. I mastered the art in a month and held a golden key that unlocked the world for me. At 16, I was playing parties and school dates. I got in at the very end of radio's golden era. But where I really hit it big was television. By then, I was calling myself Janus and Alias. And then, suddenly, by the late 1960s, I was a has-been. The gold all faded. The club dates I played were a disaster, and a lifetime of splitting myself in two ended in murder.
Fred, look what you've done to him. We'll never put him back together now.
What do you care, Sarah?
What do you mean?
Isn't this the way you've always wanted it?
Oh, Fred, you're sick.
You always thought he came between you and me.
Who?
Him, the dummy.
I never said that once all these years.
But you thought it.
Well, he was always the first thing in your thoughts. You combed his hair, pressed his clothes, washed his face, even behind his ears like he was a child. You never even kept him in a box. He was always there wherever we were. We were never alone. You even used to talk to him off stage. Yes, I was jealous. Now maybe I'm glad you've destroyed him. Maybe now we can have what you'd never let me have.
What? What did I ever refuse you?
A child? A child of my own?
How could we have a child, Sarah? Always on the road, always moving, living in hotels. Children weren't for us.
You could have left me behind with our child or our children.
And travel alone?
Don't you think that I could have gone ahead and had a child? How could you have stopped me? But I didn't because...
Because?
It wouldn't have been fair to the child. It would have been my child, not something we shared, just as he was your child. Oh, Freddie, what's wrong with you? How could you have done that to him?
It doesn't matter. He's gone.
Well, let's see if we can't put him together again.
No! Leave him alone. Don't touch him.
Fred!
He's dead. Smashed. He couldn't be repaired, and he's not going to be repaired, because there's nothing to repair him for.
Darling, what is it?
Don't you see? I'm as dead as he is.
You got fired again.
I'm through, Sarah. It's all over. There's no Janus the Great.
No, that isn't true, darling. You're tired. You've been overworking. A good night's rest.
What am I going to do? We have no money. I have no other talents. I'm back once again to where I began, Fat Freddie from the East Bronx. When I killed Alias, I might as well have killed myself. I had no rest that night. What a night it was. After Sarah, worrying herself frantic about me, finally got to sleep, the things began happening. The first pain when it came was so intense and piercing that in spite of myself, it... Oh, my God! I bit my lip till the blood came, trying to stifle my cry so that I shouldn't bother Sarah. But my arm felt as though some giant had broken it across his knee. And then the second one came. A blow that compressed my brain and sent it spinning. Oh, dear God, what's happening to me?
Fred? Fred? What is it? Darling, are you all right? Oh, it's 5 a.m. You're still awake.
Sarah, a dream. What a dream. I felt like I was broken on the rack.
I'll get you some aspirin. You're coming down with something, mark my words.
I'm coming down with something, all right. Tomorrow, first thing, I'll take care of that.
Take care of what?
What I did to my poor little dummy. Tomorrow, I'll go to the professor and see if he can put Alias together again. It's what must be done.
So now you've made up your mind. Maybe you could sleep a little.
What I am, I am. Too late to change about the dummy and me. But one thing it isn't too late for is a child. If you...
Oh, what could I do with a child? I already have one in my arms. Sleep a little, darling, sleep. And maybe we could find a new tomorrow.
I could sleep now. The pains were all still there, but dulled and able to be forgotten. I nestled close to Sarah, and she held me close. And suddenly it came, the blessed curtain of sleep, and the wonderful feeling that all the decisions had been made and the future smoothed away.
You did this to my creation.
Professor, I paid you for him.
For the intricate balance of wire and joints that gave him reality. And more than that, the control of the eyes, the mouth, the tongue between the teeth, a model of the human figure, a scarce step below actuality. He's been destroyed beyond belief. It's vandalism. He cannot be repaired.
You must forgive me, Professor Manzini, but my art is a lost art, and yours may be too.
What? What do you say?
We live in a world where miracle, illusion, magic are forgotten. Words and symbols mean little more than what they state.
We live in a world where nothing that is said, no words, no statement means anything at all. Yes, you are right about our profession. I've had my dissatisfactions, too, which have led me deeper and deeper into the recreation of form, the humanoid form, the complete replica of man. I am so near, Janus, so near.
What are you saying?
I've created a dummy. No, forget that awful word. A robot, half life-size, capable of everything. Movement, reaction, everything except actual speech. By electronic control, you can move this figure, activate it, make it sit or stand or bend. But to make it speak, that is beyond me. Only a master of ventriloquism can effect that. Will you lend your artistic talent to my mechanical genius and create a new miracle?
Need you ask? I'm desperate.
You don't have to worry any longer, Janus. Here, come with me a moment. Let me show you my new masterpiece. There he is. How do you like him?
Why, his face. It's the exact image of mine.
No, I had to have a model. Who better than you? Here, take this control. Ask him to get up and come to you.
What do I call him?
Well, he's you to the life. And it's a great title. The Great Janus and, Self. Yes, that's its name.
Self. I am Janus. Will you come to me? Do you want me to be your master?
Well, why don't you make it answer?
I'm trying to, but maybe I'm out of practice. I'll try again. Do you know me? Will you answer me when I talk? If you tell me the answers... How did you find Chicago? I just got off the plane and there it was. I don't know if I want this dummy, Professor.
Oh, the elements are sensational. This is only a working model. Let me build you the complete dummy and you'll thank me forever.
I've told you, Professor, I haven't the money.
Yes, I know. So I'll offer you a proposition. I'll build you a humanoid that will walk, move, bend, jump, do anything you ask it to. That's my contribution. All you must provide is the voice. That is beyond me. We'll go into a simple partnership, 50-50, on all our earnings. Will you accept that?
I don't have to put up any money to own a humanoid that moves and acts like any other person?
You will pay. Now leave. I must get to work. I will finish Self. Arrivederci, Janus.
Arrivederci. How will I know?
I will call you the moment he is finished.
I don't know how to thank you, Professor Manzini.
Oh, yes, my sometimes friend. No need to thank me. Nor will you want to when I'm finished with you. Murderer, assassin, to have killed one of my children. For that you will pay. I could have struck you dead today for what you did to one of mine. But I stayed my hand a little while. I have other plans for you than just revenge.
So the professor's apparent kindness is only a mask to hide his revenge for the destruction of one of his creations. But how does he expect to accomplish that? I'll return shortly with Act 2. Ventriloquism. The name is a misnomer, since its Latin roots mean simply speaking from the stomach. In actual fact, the illusion is produced by depressing the vocal cords, pulling the tongue inside the mouth to create the words, and by keeping the lips from moving. Still, practiced by a master, the illusion is indistinguishable from reality. So much so that the great English philosopher Henry Moore was moved to say, "Who knows, but some of his counterfeit ventriloquists may prove true ones," which is another way of saying, which is the dummy and which is the master.
When I got home to Sarah with the news about the new act and how I was sure it would put me back in the headlines again, she was less enthusiastic than I'd hoped. Oh, I knew she was pleased for me, but behind the pleasure and the love in her eyes, I could sense a darkness, a foreboding that she couldn't hide.
I'm so glad, Fred. You know what a fierce old warrior the professor is. I thought he'd never forgive you for what you'd done to his masterpiece.
So did I. But I think this new thing he's building is what saved me.
What do you mean?
Well, he's an exact replica of me, like a twin brother.
Just as long as you'll be happy.
You're not?
Oh, I don't know, Fred. This one is so big, so different. The other little fellow was like a child.
Don't, Sarah.
I wouldn't care if you drove a bus or sewed shoes or collected trash. At least I'd have you to myself.
You've always had me, Sarah. There's never been anyone else.
Oh, women I never had to worry about. No matter how they gathered about you. You're a very handsome man, Fred.
I have to be. Look at what I married, the most beautiful woman in the world.
An old lady like me. Since I first saw you, there was nobody but you for me.
Now you regret it?
Oh, never. It's just that I'm so completely yours, all of me. I wish only sometimes I could have you to myself the same way.
But you do. The dummies, Alias, any of them, they aren't your rivals, darling. Not in any way.
Are you sure?
I raise my hand to God.
Oh, no, don't.
Why not?
Because you're only lying to him and to yourself. Oh, don't you see, Fred, they're all your children. The children I never had, the children I can't share.
Why have you stuck with me all these years?
Because I love you. The part of you I've had. But I wish oh, how I wish I could have had all of you.
Sarah, listen. It's going to take the professor a couple of months to finish the work on Self. Cy Kaplan can take care of all the bookings. I've already talked to him, and he's sure we got a smash going. I got all the material I need, and Joe and Irving can be running me up some topical stuff. They'll do it on spec for me. So why don't you and me just run away?
Run away?
You pick the spot. Just so we have enough cash or can borrow enough to make it. Bermuda, the Bahamas, Mexico.
Oh, Fred, I can be packed tonight.
We had nearly 2 months on an island in the Caribbean where the beach from our cabin stretched as far as you could look from left to right. The long walks, the swims, the fish diet, and the simple local foods trimmed me down and took 5 years off my looks. Most of all, the peace and a strange transformation that was happening inside my own mind. From the beginning, I'd always known what Sarah meant by my split personality. From the moment we landed on the island, I had set myself to persuade her that it no longer existed. And in the process, I found that I no longer had to persuade myself. It was gone. I called the professor only once during our long vacation.
Hello?
Professor, it's Fred Ghost, Janus.
Sì, come sta, amici?
Wonderful.
Self is not yet finished.
Good.
Good?
I mean, only that I'm enjoying the only vacation I've ever had in my life, so...
I advise you to enjoy it to the full. When I've completed your alter ego, you will have little time for play.
You're that optimistic?
I am that optimistic. I have an instinct about these things. I think you will find yourself when you see yourself. I'll send you a message soon when I'm ready. You'll come straight back?
Sure, Professor, sure. Under the circumstances, I'm at your command. Till I hear from you.
Ciao.
Driving back to our beach cottage from the nearest little town where there was a phone, I found a host of things running through my mind. How happy and carefree the last weeks had been. What they had meant to Sarah. Paramount over all was my return to my own personal freedom. To being my own man. Not to have to depend on a fabrication of wood, steel, and wires to which I had lent half my own personality. Over which I had to split myself. It was in that frame of mind I should have decided my life. Except when I got back home, the decision wasn't mine. Oh, what is it, Sarah?
Oh, I don't know. I'm afraid to hope, but I hurt so you've got to get me to the hospital.
What is it, Liebchen?
Well, I think I'm making a better image for you than Professor Manzini, with all his skills, could ever make. I think I'm pregnant with our child, Fred. Oh, don't let anything happen to him.
It was a wild trip to the local airstrip, a chartered plane and on into Nassau. Sarah had to spend 2 weeks in bed there resting before we were allowed to return home. We wouldn't have left then if it hadn't been for a flurry of phone calls. The professor had finished.
Benvenuto, Janus. Come sta?
Sta bene, maestro. Where is he?
Gently, each thing to its own time. Have you had a good vacation? You look like Othello.
I guess I picked up quite a tan.
And how is your good wife?
Sarah? Oh, she's fine now.
She didn't lose the child?
No, thank God. It was just an early threatened miscarriage. But we got to Nassau on time.
Well, I made a decision while you were gone. Since we're breaking convention, moving into a new relationship, I made certain structural changes.
All right, whatever you decide. You're the master builder.
And you, the master magician.
Needs both of us to create the illusion.
True. Just so long as it is illusion. Signore. Huh? My pills in the little bottle on the inlaid table.
Here. How many? Do you need water?
No, just nitroglycerin. One under the tongue.
Yeah.
I have an old heart that has been working too long. Thank you.
Is there anything else I can get for you?
Not any more than you will be getting me very soon. There. Now I'm all right. Yeah, you wish to meet your alter ego?
You can imagine. I'm dying to meet the dummy which will bring ventriloquism and me back into the spotlight again.
Baby. It will be the same as before, except that now, physically, he is perfect. He will move, walk, perform any physical function except talk. That is where you are the creative one. There he is.
He's absolute perfection. How could you tell him from a human being?
He cannot speak. Only you can teach him that.
Teach him?
Well, provide him with a voice and language.
Should we dress him first?
Oh, by all means, let us dress him. And then find out what we have. Or as the Bible would have said, what has been wrought.
Together, we dress the flexible but unresponsive body. A body so like mine, except so much younger and more perfect. And all the while we worked this curious feeling whenever I glanced up to find myself looking at me, or me looking at self. Finally, the moment was there to animate him.
So, Ecke, this very small remote control you hold in your hand can make him do everything but speak. Let me show you how the control works. Self, would you make us both a drink? Scotch on the rocks for me, a vermouth cassis for Mr. Janus.
Fantastic.
I showed you before.
But that was a robot. This is a replica of a human being. Who could tell the difference?
No one. Except us. He needs only one more thing to make him complete. A voice.
He's too terrifying. What right have we to invest a complete human being with a voice?
It's the only thing he lacks.
No. If we are to be an act, there is something also he lacks totally. A brain. The power of thought. Whatever issues from his mouth are my thoughts, my words.
Think of the magic of it all.
But how is an audience conscious of that? How do they know that there is any magic happening before them?
Because at the end of the act, or before, however you build it, you turn this figure around. So, and you open this door in his back, like that, and he is revealed as a robot. A mass of gears, cams, springs, the antitheses of a human, a piece of machinery constructed of moving parts.
Something nags at me and tells me there's a flaw in this.
Oh, you have a mountain of debts. How else do you repay them?
Well, I suppose I'm just a sentimental fool, but somehow you make me sound like Faust. You're right. This is the only way I can dig myself out of debt and start a future for my child. You have an act, Professor. Janus and Self. I'll start to work it up immediately, and I hope it'll catch on.
I know it will.
I have a feeling it will, but is it the success I want? I wish I could be sure of that.
Another old-time quote on ventriloquism was one that had an evil spirit speaking in his belly. But suppose by some supernatural act the reverse were true, that somehow the ventriloquist became the victim, that the doll, the dummy, the alter ego tipped the scale and took over for him. Let's see what happens when I return with Act 3. Janus and Self were an instant hit. For 2 months, the act was shaped and polished and brought to New York, where it opened to raves. There were only 2 rifts in the success. The first had to do with Professor Manzini.
It was the day I was to pick up Self. The maestro had wanted to make a few final adjustments, he said, and I had been working desperately to finally come up with a voice that I hoped was completely humanoid. Sarah felt it was, so did my agent. I was anxious to let the professor hear it himself, but I never had the chance. No answer. That's strange. He knew I was coming. Why would he have gone out? His heart. Professor! Professor Manzini! It's me! Janus, Professor! He was seated in his old armchair, head lolling to one side, one hand over the chair as if to receive a pellet from the bottle held in Self's hand. Self himself was bent over, frozen in the act of spilling it out of the already opened bottle. I took his pulse quickly. Listen to his heart. The professor was dead. I stooped and picked up the control box, depressing the button. You can straighten up now, Self. Give me the bottle. Thanks. When did he die? Of course, how stupid of me. What a triumph you are, that I should forget even for a moment. At a moment as crucial and heartbreaking as this, that you're only a dummy. Isn't that right?
Yes, Master. That's right.
I shouldn't make you call me that. Do you mind?
Why should I mind? Don't you control me?
Yes, I suppose I do. Except you seem so human.
And a little frightening because I'm so much your twin.
Wait a minute. Well, what's this? Attached to this note is a copy of my will. It makes you the executor and sole heir to all my possessions. May they bring you all you deserve. I have done everything in my power to make sure you will get everything that's coming to you. Did you hear that, Self? You're all mine now.
I am all yours.
Fred, wait a minute. Don't be so fidgety. Let me tie your tie.
I'm sorry, Sarah. It's a rough schedule. I just hope my voice holds out.
I got some lemon and honey for you. Here, drink.
What would I do without you?
Fred, why don't you give it all up? Who needs it?
We do, till the bills are paid.
Well, not with what the professor left us.
I don't want his money. I want my own.
Oh,
What is it, honey?
oh, it's just the baby. He kicks so much these days. Regular soccer player he'll grow up to be.
You take care of yourself.
Ooh.
Now, don't worry about me. I don't want to have to start worrying about you.
What else is it you're worried about, Fred?
Nothing. Just the grind.
Well, you'll tell me if it's anything else.
I'll tell you. What could I ever keep from you, Sarah? But there were things I was keeping from Sarah. things I even tried to keep from myself. Something strange was happening in the act. Sometimes I'd sort of blank out on the stage. There would be periods when I was never sure exactly what had been said. And then there was the growing pressure on my throat, creating a voice that was unnatural for a ventriloquist, no matter how natural it might be to the audience. I went to my doctor about it, and he advised rest, but that was impossible with the contracts I had to fulfill. I took my problems to Sarah.
You mean he talked without you?
I don't know, Sarah. It seemed that way.
But how?
Well, you know, the old routine. Just to take, for example, where I say, "Where were you born?" He says, "In a hospital." And I say, "Why?" And he says, "Because I want to be near my mother." I've done it so often. The exchange seems completely authentic. But last night, the strangest thing happened, like it's happened before, I think. Only, maybe I'm crazy.
What, Fred?
I asked the question, "Where were you born?" And he answered.
Oh, who cares about me? Where were you born?
And I said, "In a hospital." And he said,
Why?
And I said, "Because I wanted to be near my mother." It's crazy. Turned upside down, topsy-turvy. Like he controlled me instead of...
Fred, you've got to quit. It isn't worth it anymore. You're killing yourself.
Why didn't I listen to her? But there was the child to think of and the usual obsession, money. The climax came near the end of my engagement at the music hall. These moments of blanking out in the middle of the act had become more and more frequent. And so had the visits to the doctor for my hoarseness. It took all my strength to go on this performance, except that I knew Sarah was in the audience. I loaded myself with pep pills, gargled, drank coffee by the gallon, and made my appearance. But I was so drugged, shaken out of myself, that the performance was strictly by rote, routine, mechanical, until... So, you think that's funny, do you?
How can I help it?
What do you mean?
What you think, I think, right?
Wrong. It's time you learn to think for yourself.
Okay. How come if we have to pretend we're doing this silly ventriloquist act, I don't sit on your knee?
That's a silly thing to say.
Just like everything else I get to. Why?
You're just as big as I am. That'd be ridiculous.
Not any more than the rest of this act. Anyway, why do you always get to sit down and I have to stand?
Don't get mad.
Oh, I'm not the one who's crazy. You have to be if I sound that way.
All right. If you want to sit down on my lap, come on.
Thank you, Daddy. Isn't this just like old times? Let's do Sonny Boy.
When there are gray skies.
What can they all be, Daddy?
Let them all be gray skies.
What'll I do with them?
You'll make them blue.
What's my name?
Sonny Boy.
What about your friends?
From the moment Fred had left the prepared act, I had a horrible foreboding that something terrible was wrong. And for a long while I sat frozen into my seat. How could I stop it? The audience wasn't far behind me in realizing something had gone terribly wrong. And that awful thing that happens only in actors' dreams was taking place, right up there on the stage. My husband, making a fool of himself and seemingly powerless to stop it. I sat there to the bitter end.
And now for the final unbelievable moment, when we offer you the climactic proof of what you've known from the beginning. That despite the evidence of your eyes, ears, and all the other senses, there's on this stage only one living man, myself. The other is, turn around, self, the greatest living robot the world has ever known, a humanoid, complete in every sense, except that he is voiceless. Now, I open the back to prove that he is not alive, not human, but a mechanical contrivance of human ingenuity. What's the matter? Where?
This is not your night, Janus.
Why don't you turn around and let the audience know the truth? Turn! Drum roll! Presto, presto, watch and see the truth.
The audience reacted as always, as the door in the dummy's back swung open. My reaction was horrifyingly different, because the door that had been opened was not in the dummy's back, but what for 20 years of married life had been my husband's.
What happened out there, Self?
Since we are alone and the time is right, I will reveal myself.
Professor.
None other. I can't tell you how many bodies I've used, stolen their souls from them to house my own. The only children I've ever had are my puppets, my marionettes, my dummies. When you murdered Alias, I made up my mind to take your body and punish you in the process. I've had my revenge. I told you in my will I'd make sure you got everything that was coming to you. I think I kept my promise.
But you're not finished.
The curse that was laid on me is quite specific. I must find a body to occupy for at least 10 years before I make an exchange or descend to everlasting hell. The one I've taken from you will serve. You have your choice. Continue as a voiceless dummy, or destroy yourself. I couldn't care less.
Fred! Fred, what is it? What's the matter?
I have no more use for either of you. I shall leave. Oh, Mrs. Goldstein, you might need this.
What is it?
The control box to make your husband move. I'll even leave you his voice, since it's become so hoarse and unpleasant. Addio. I've had my revenge.
What am I to do with this? Fred, are you a robot now?
I was. I should be. Except that God is merciful, and evil doesn't always triumph.
What do you mean?
I don't know exactly, but listen to me.
You sound like my Fred again.
I feel like your old Fred again, and not so old. I'm aware of blood coursing through my veins. My heart is pumping, my brain moving and reacting. Look at me, Sarah. Is there a door in my back?
No, but how?
It's beyond me to explain, except every time before that ghoul stole another body, the soul was lost, till this time, because there was already a body made in my image for my soul to invest.
Then you are my Fred.
Thanks to God. Even my voice is back. Most of all, my voice. That's the greatest irony of all.
What do you mean, darling?
For months I've kept it from you. But now I don't need to anymore. He, Self, the professor, whatever he was or is, stole my body and left me the image to dwell in now. And by so doing, saved my life and condemned himself. The body he left me is new and capable of long life. My body that he stole has less than a month to live. I had incurable cancer of the larynx.
I'll be back in a moment with a final thought. As for that mysterious and indefinable character, the professor, whoever he was, his car went out of control on the Harlem River Drive and plunged into the canal. Since he could not swim, whether or not his life might have been saved will never be answered. Our cast included Victor Jory, Amzie Strickland, and Ian Martin. Associate Director, Marlon Swing. This is Hyman Brown, Producer-Director, inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, then, pleasant dreams.